is presented by authority of Major League Baseball Properties on behalf of the Major League Baseball clubs in the office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without express written consent.
California Angels Baseball is brought to you by Chevron, who is celebrating its 100th birthday this year and working hard to help make America's energy wishes come true for the next 100 years. By Anheuser-Busch Natural Light. For a smooth, clean-tasting light beer, just say natural. Angels Baseball is also brought to you by Continental Airlines. Next time you travel, let Continental show you the way to having a great trip. And by Chevrolet, like baseball, hot dogs, and apple pie. Chevy is America's favorite year after
year. Good evening, everyone. Al Wisk, along with Don Drysdale and Dick Nelson, welcoming you to Anaheim Stadium. History waiting in the wings as the Angels face the Royals in Game 2 of a 3-game September series. For 19 years, the Angels have watched other teams in October. For 19 years, the Angels have fallen short of postseason play. All of that could end tonight before a packed house in Anaheim. This game and the entire series sold out yesterday in anticipation of this night tonight. Emotion pulsating throughout the crowd as the Angels hover one win away from their first championship ever. Last night, one of the most electric games in recent memory, with the Angels edging the Royals 4-3. Nolan Ryan, his 16th win of the year, surviving 3 unearned runs in the second. Bobby Grich, 2 great defensive plays. Dan Ford, a sparkling catch, and 4 RBIs leading the way offensively. Tonight to the mound, Frank Tanana, 6-5, against 22-year-old Craig Chamberlain, 4-3 for KC. Presses are waiting, front page waiting to be cast. The Angels and the Royals tonight in Anaheim Stadium. And before we give you the starting lineups for tonight's game, final game with Kansas City here tomorrow. Dennis Leonard going for the Royals. Jim Barr cranking up for the Angels. Tomorrow's game already sold out. Whether it's a post-celebration game or a chance to clinch the Western Division depends on tonight's results, both here and in Bloomington, Minnesota. Magic number 2 for the California Angels. Hope you'll join us on KMPC, our flagship station, and on your Angel Radio Network station. And the starting lineups for tonight's game for the Kansas City Royals. And you can hear the folks in Anaheim Stadium psyching up already, even before the first pitch has been thrown. Willie Wilson leading off and in left field. Frank White at second base, hitting second. Al McRae, the designated hitter. Amos Otis in center field. Al Collins in right field. Darrell Porter, the catcher. John Wathan replaces Pete Lecoq over at first base. U.L. Washington, the shortstop, and Todd Cruz is at third base. And the last name that we mentioned, a significant one because of the name we omitted, that of George Brett. Brett having a fabulous year for Kansas City, leading the American League in several offensive departments. But George Brett out of the game tonight. Leads the American League in hits, 212, runs 119, triples 20, second in total bases, doubles, 4th in average, 4th in slugging percentage. He is their key man offensively, but he will not be able to play this evening. Brett, in a play last night, apparently injured his knee. He tried to get up this morning, and in doing so, he collapsed. Brett was taken to Dr. Curlin, the knee examined. Dr. Curlin said that he should stay off the knee, and there's no telling right now how long he will be out. So a staggering loss to Kansas City, as their only hope of miracle at this stage. The Angels with a magic number of 2, and they only have 5 games left to play. And they take the field defensively. Well, the crowd in Anaheim Stadium, 40,000 plus, rising to their feet. The Angels up on the top step of the dugout, caps over their hearts for the playing of our national anthem. our national anthem. And the starting lineup for the Angels out in the field defensively. Rick Miller will lead off, and he's the center fielder. Carney Lansford hitting second and at third base. Dan Ford, last night's offensive hero, in right field. Don Baylor, the designated hitter. Rod Carew at first base. Brian Downing, the catcher. Bobby Gritch at second. Larry Harlow in left field. And Jimmy Anderson, the shortstop. The umpiring crew for tonight's game: Jim Evans behind home plate, Al Clark over at first base, Durwood Merrill at second base, Larry Barnett at third. And checking the scoreboard, they now have completed 6 innings in Bloomington, Minnesota. And at the end of 6, it's the Chicago White Sox holding a 4-run lead over Minnesota, 6-2. A 6-2 Chicago, and we'll keep you closely posted on that game. The Oakland A's, the Texas Rangers, waiting till next year and tied at 3-all at the end of 6.5. Seattle and Milwaukee, it's 6-2 Seattle. They have played 5.5. The Blue Jays in Boston now finished. They played that one at Fenway Park. 5-3 Toronto, the final score. Stibe, the winning pitcher, 8-7. Stanley, the losers, 16-11. The Tigers 3-2 winners over the Baltimore Orioles, who have clinched. And apparently it will be Flanagan who will open up in the American League Championship Series on Wednesday. He'll be the starting pitcher for Earl Weaver. Morris, the winning pitcher for Detroit, 16-7. Tippy Martinez, the loser in relief, 10-3. Cleveland still in action against the New York Yankees. And in that game, it is 6-5 New York at the end of 6.5. Home runs by Bonds, Spencer, and Gamble. Getting started momentarily, the Dodgers and Giants. Sutcliffe against Halicki. The Cubs beat the Mets 11-3. The second game of that doubleheader, it was the Mets winning 4-3 in 10. Allen the winner, Tidrow the loser. Padres lead the Reds 8-0 at the end of 7. Magic number for Cincy is 4. Cards over the Phillies 4-1. The Expos and Pirates in action. And it is 9-4 at the end of 6.5. Tanana on the mound. Wilson at the plate. We're getting set to go in Anaheim Stadium in a very historic night, possibly. The first pitch swung on and missed. A fastball. 1 strike to Wilson. It'll be Wilson, White, and McRae for KC here in the first. Tanana on the mound, 6-5 this year, coming back from an arm injury and pitching in the final month of the season. He winds, and the 1-strike delivery is a fastball high. It's 1-1. Jim Barr slated to be the starter tonight, but he had some tenderness in his arm, so he will start tomorrow night. They'll give him an extra day's rest. The 1-1 pitch. Fastball waved at and missed on the outside edge. It's 1-2 to Wilson. Tanana, his 5th start since coming back from tendonitis in his shoulder. Frank balances on that pivot foot, pulls back, and the 1-2 pitch. Fastball high, and we've seen all 4 fastballs from Tanana on the first 4 pitches. Angel left-hander on the mound. Switch hitting Wilson at the plate. Hitting right-handed. Tanana winds, and the 2-2 pitch, a fastball low. It's 3-2 to Wilson. Frank in his first start of 1979 against Kansas City, and it couldn't have come at a more important time. Tanana rocks, and the 3-2 pitch. Swinging a ground ball to Anderson. He gloves it, throws over to first base, run away. So the jitters now starting to leave both teams. Jimmy Anderson fielding the first ball successfully, 6-3 to put out, Willie Wilson. And now it's Frank White at the plate against Tanana. Outfield fanned out against White. Right-hand hitter with a slightly closed stance. Tanana kicks, and the first pitch. Swing and a fly ball hit to left center field. Gliding over is Harlow. He calls and makes the catch. 2 gone in the first, and here's Hal McRae. McRae, a .291 hitter, 10 home runs, 74 RBIs this year. He's hit safely in 6 straight games. On the disabled list for a while with a rotator cuff problem. Has hit .344 since coming back. The first pitch is a fastball high, ball 1. Angels defensively, Harlow, Miller, Ford in the outfield, left to right. Lansford, Anderson, Grich, and Carew around the horn. Downing behind the plate. Flashes signs to Tanetta. Frank winds, and the 1-0 pitch is taken high. It's 2-0 to McRae. Mild night tonight in Anaheim Stadium, but a hot night in terms of the pennant race. The 2-0 pitch is a ground ball to Anderson. Stays with it. Throws over to first base in time, and it's a 1-2-3 first for KC. At the end of a half an inning, the Kansas City Royals no score with the Angels coming up.
The 1980 Chevrolets are coming, America, and your Chevy dealer must make room for them. So if you're ready for a really smart buy, this is your chance to pick up on a great Chevy value. Because right now, your Chevy dealer's year-end car and truck clearance is on. And what a great selection, too. Caprices, Impalas, Monte Carlos, and Malibus, plus tough, full-size Chevy pickups, vans, and Blazers. Now is the time for you to get in on the full-size room, ride, and comfort of the new Chevrolet Caprice and Impala, America's favorite full-size cars and wagons. And if your taste runs toward the distinctive Chevrolet Monte Carlo or the roomy Chevy Malibu, now is the time to buy. They're the cars and trucks you want, America, and they're all waiting for you now during your Chevy dealer's year-end car and truck clearance. So see your Chevy dealer today and get a great Chevy value. All you have to do is hurry.
So the Royals go in order in their half of the first, and the Angels will send up Rick Miller, Carney Lansford, and Dan Ford to go against the pride of Los Alamitos, Craig Chamberlain, the young pitcher born in Hollywood, makes his home in Los Alamitos, went to high school there, then Long Beach Community College, then on to the University of Arizona. A fast start this year, called up from Jacksonville, where he was 12-9, won 7 straight games. That got the attention of the Royals. They pulled him up to the major league level, and a fast start there. Won his first 3 starts, but he has won only 1 of his last 6 games, and in that span has had 3 losses and 2 no decisions. Now it's Craig Chamberlain, 4-3, a 3.42 ERA in his 10th major league start, going against the Angels in almost his own backyard tonight. Defensively for Kansas City, Wilson in left field, Amos Otis in center field, the right fielder, Al Cowens. Todd Cruz replaces the injured George Brett at third base, U.L. Washington at short, Frank White, the second baseman, the Duke John Wathen over at first base, and Darrell Porter behind the plate. For the Angels, Bobby Knopp coaching tonight at third base, and Darren Johnson is over at first. So the magic number 2, the Angels definitely scoreboard watching tonight, as the Minnesota Twins and Kansas City Royals have a factor of 2 separating them from the Angels. And we talk about factor, we mean the magic number. Any combination of Minnesota losses and Angel wins totaling 2 will give the Angels the pennant. And of course, coupling with that, Kansas City. A win tonight would mean a Kansas City loss and an Angel victory, and it would be all over in the Western Division, and the Angels would be waiting to wing their way to Baltimore. Rick Miller, left-hand hitter, leading off against Chamberlain. 22-year-old right-hander on the mound, 6'1", 190 pounds. He winds, and the pitch. Swing and a foul fly out of play off the left side. Lands in a thoroughly filled third deck. And it's 1 strike to Miller. Four straight sellouts. Fan Appreciation Day on Sunday, last night, tonight, and tomorrow night, in the biggest series in Angel history. 1 strike pitch is up high. It's 1-1. Chamberlain, both feet on the rubber, peering in, reading signs from Porter. He kicks, and the 1-1 pitch. Fouled back to the screen. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Miller, 287, 2 home runs, 27 RBIs, has hit safely in 6 straight games. Gold Glove center fielder last year in the American League. Bothered by a hand injury this year, but he's come back to start again. The 1-2 pitch. Curveball is whacked and hit well to right field. Going back is Collins to the track. He makes the catch, a step from the wall. Oh, Rick Miller showing surprising power here in the first inning. He has only 2 home runs this year, and he just barely missed it by a step, hitting his 3rd of the season, leading off for the Angels in the first. He falls a step short, 1 out, flying out to right, and here's Carney Lansford. Chamberlain winds, and the pitch to Carney. Swing, a little looper hit back at second base. White retreating, backpedaling now, slowing down to make the catch. 2 gone in the first. Now 2 outs to Dan Ford. If any man on the Angel team this season and in the stretch run can be called a clutch player, it's Disco Dan Ford. In the month of September, in very important games almost every day, he has 22 RBIs and his 4 biggest RBIs last night, leading the way to a 4-3 Angel win. Chamberlain winds, and the first pitch is taken outside. A breaking ball, ball 1. Those 4 ribbies took him over the century mark. He has 101 on the year, 21 home runs, a .291 average. His best season ever. He waits. The pitch from Chamberlain. Swung on and missed. A fastball. It's 1-1. Ford now with 13 game-winning RBIs. And after those curtain calls last night, Ford with one of them. Bobby Grich saluted. Nolan Ryan honored. Ford said he felt like a little kid. He waits. The 1-1 pitch. Fastball waved at and missed. A late swing by Ford. It's 1-2. Chamberlain's trouble against the Angels in Kansas City was that he was consistently up with his pitches. And the Angels eventually solved him. Chamberlain charged with 5 runs and 8 hits in 6 1/3. The pitch fouled back to the screen. It's a ball and 2 strikes to Ford. Chamberlain, stocky right-hander. Yellow hair poking out of the sides of his royal blue cap. KC insignia in white on the front. He winds. The 1-2 pitch sprayed foul right side. Third deck rising to make a catch. A ball and 2 strikes to Ford. If there's one word that could describe tonight's crowd, it is anticipation. They know the story. And the 2 important games in their world right now, the one in Minnesota and the one here at the Big A. The 1-2 pitch to Ford, a ground ball hit to the second baseman White. He fields and throws to first, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for the Angels in their half of the first. At the end of 1 in Anaheim, no score.
A remarkable radial tire sale at Chevron.
It's Chevron's 100th anniversary Atlas Radial Tire Sale.
Drive a bargain, don't miss out.
Right now, save up to $15.49 on Atlas Silver Air fiberglass belted radials.
Atlas Silver Airs, up to $15.49 off.
Or you can save up to $20 on the Atlas Golden Air 2 steel belted radial.
Sale price Golden Airs with those top steel belts.
That's up to $80 off a set of 4 of Chevron's best Atlas radials.
Golden Airs, a set of our best, at $80 off.
Remarkable savings, the excellent handling and gas economy of Atlas Radial Construction.
Silver Air,
Fiberglass belted radial.
Golden Air 2,
Steel belted radial.
from Chevron.
Great Atlas radials offering performance and economy. Savings over regular station prices through October 14th.
Chevron's 100th anniversary Atlas Radial Tire Sale.
At your participating Chevron station.
Frank Tanana on the mound, his second inning of work. The early reading on Tanana from the first go-around was that he was looking pretty good. Tanana, if the first inning's any indication, might be throwing the best that we've seen him throw in the last couple of years. And he's getting set to go to work to the heart of the Kansas City order here in the second. The name of Minnesota's Al Collins and Darrell Porter. Again, a reminder that George Brett, a candidate this year for most valuable player in the American League, although Angels fans, when they have their say, it's hands down for Don Bader. But George, unfortunately for the Royals, with a knee injury suffered last night. It was all right until he got up this morning. And then he tried to put weight on it, and the knee collapsed. And there's no telling when George will be back. So as a result, the Royals have to go without really the heart of their team in this game tonight against the Angels. Here's Otis, 294 hitter, 18 home runs, 89 RBIs. Got a report on that Minnesota game. Give it to you in a second. The pitch. Swing and a ground ball hit to Bobby Gretsch. He fields, throws over the first base in time. 4-3 in the putout of Amos Otis. At the end of 6.5 in Minnesota, Chicago 8, the Twins 2. Well, the White Sox are putting more and more room between themselves and the Minnesota Twins, and in doing so, if that score holds up, they're taking the California Angels closer and closer to their first divisional championship. Here's Al Collins with one gone in the second. Collins, 296, 9 home runs, 72 RBIs. Tanana on the mound. He's retired the first 4, balances on that pivot foot. Reading signs from Brian Downing. Collins, narrow stance, the pitch. Curveball sweeps over but low, ball 1. Collins, an L.A. native, MVP in the Centennial High football team back in '68. He waits. Fastball for a called strike. It's 1-1. A couple of years ago, the MVP for the Royals, but hit by a pitch this year, and that's knocked him out for a goodly portion of the season. Back in, and he's waiting on Tanana. Frank kicks, and the 1-1 pitch. Curveball, a check swing foul at the plate. It's 1-2. So the tempo picked up by the crowd, the rhythmic applause as we've heard all season long at Anaheim Stadium. And it's been a great year for the Angels, but it's been a great year for Angel crowds. Responsive, lively, enthusiastic all year long. The 1-2 pitch, fastball off the hand, sprayed foul to the right. The count remains 1-2. And a record number of signs tonight. We'll try and catalog a few of them for you as we go through the game. 14th of the year on hand. Angels and Royals. 1 out in the second. No score in the game. The 1-2 pitch, a curveball. Bounce to Andy. He gloves it waist high. Throws him out. Oh, Jimmy Anderson, who has had his share of troubles the last week or so in series against the Royals in Kansas City and here in Anaheim, responsible for 3 of the first 5 putouts tonight. And here's Darrell Porter. 2 gone for the Royals in their half of the second. No score in the game. Porter, devastating against the Angels. The left-hand hitter. .436 against them this year with 12 RBIs. The pitch. Fastball for a called strike 1. Overall, hitting .291 with 20 home runs and 108 RBIs. Wide open stance for the left-hand hitter. He waits. The 1-strike pitch. Swing and a foul at the plate, and Tanana with the edge on him, 0-2. The hand clapping begins again. Tanana with 2 strikes on Porter. Frank checks his signs with Downing. He winds. The 2-strike pitch. Fastball to the outside edge. Caught him looking. Frank's first strikeout of the game. He's retired the first 6 in order. And at the end of 1.5, no score.
This, Bud's, for the men behind the mic.
Hey, that's us.
The men who do the color and the play-by-play.
By play-by-play.
This Bud's for you. For being on the job and working hard all day. So here's to you. For all you do, the king of beers is coming through. This Bud's for you.
Yes, to those men with throats of gold and the eyes of an eagle. The men that keep the fans up on the action.
Can we get to the Budweiser, please?
I thought you'd never stop me. You know, no ball game would be the same without the crisp, clean taste of the king of beers.
So true, Don. Here's to you.
And to you, Al. You know, I think we've got this one coming.
For all you do.
This Bud's for you.
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis. Frank Donana, in his first two stints, had looked very sharp tonight. Very sharp. He's retired the first 6 men in order and got Darrell Porter looking. A called strike 3 to end the second inning. So, at the end of 1.5, no score, the Angels went in order in their half of the first, and they'll bring Don Baylor, Rod Carew, and Brian Downing to the plate in their half of the second. There's Don Baylor. Baylor, 297, 35 home runs, number 4 in the American League, 138 RBIs, number 1 in the major leagues. Chamberlain winds, the right-hander's first drive, a high drive, hit deep down the line in left field, but it is hooking foul and on a play. Home run depth for Baylor as he got a high pitch up, and he rode it up and away, but foul. Pulled it too much. A long strike to Don. Baylor just missed a home run last night. Sent Wilson to the wall. The pitch outside with a breaking ball. 1-1 to Baylor. Rick Miller, of all people, hit a drive deep to right field. Cowan's able to go back to the wall to haul it in. The 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball outside again. It's 2-1. Chamberlain, after almost being burned, now trying to keep the ball low and away on Don. About the only place you can pitch him. Deep side by Chamberlain. He winds in the 2-1 pitch. Low and away. 3-1. Chamberlain, and being cautious to Baylor, now 1 pitch away from walking him. Rubbing up the baseball on the mound. Baylor stepping out momentarily, swinging that bat. Couple of half cuts, twirling it off the back shoulder now. The 3-1 pitch outside, ball 4 with a breaking ball. So we have the game's first base runner for either team. Baylor with a leadoff walk here in the second. And here comes Rod Carew.
Number 29. First baseman, Rod Carew.
Angels baseball brought to you by Chevrolet. Visit your Chevy dealer, see for yourself why the beautiful Monte Carlo has more than good looks. Royal set for 2 on the infield. Carew swings away on the first pitch, fouls it away. 1 strike to Rodney. Todd Cruz up on the grass over at third base in case Carew has any thoughts of bunting. John Wathan holding Baylor on over at first. Middle of the infield, and Washington and White set for 2. The set and the pitch. Swing and a bounding ball foul wide of first base. 2 strikes to Rod Carew. Okay, updating very quickly the scoreboard. 8-2 Chicago at the end of 7 now. Texas and Oakland, 4-3 Texas at the end of 7. Set by Chamberlain, 2-strike pitch. Bounding ball through the left side for a base hit. Baylor around second, hangs on. Wilson up with the ball, runners at first and second, nobody out, and here comes Downing. Carew hit it where they weren't as he bounced it under the glove of Todd Cruz over at third base. Other scores, Seattle 6-5, leading Milwaukee at the end of 7. Toronto beat the Red Sox 5-3. The Tigers over the Orioles 3-2. The Yankees in Cleveland. It is 7-5 New York at the end of 7. National League, San Francisco 1, Los Angeles nothing. Sutcliffe against Halicki. Downing at the plate. 2 men on. Nobody out. Angels half of the second. Chamberlain on the mound. Downing waits. The wide open stance. The set by Chamberlain and the pitch. Up high, ball 1. Downing 321. 12 home runs. 72 RBIs this year. The Angel catcher. With a year that no one, I don't think even Downing, expected it to happen as well as it has. He waits. The 1-0 pitch. Curveball breaks outside. It's 2-0. Kansas City remains set for 2 on the infield. The outfield deep and just about straight away. Cruz at third. Off the line, even with the bag. Back of the bag, off the line at first base, Wathan. Chamberlain sets the 2-0 pitch. On the outside corner with a fastball, it's 2-1. Chamberlain fell behind on Don Baylor and walked him to lead off the second. Then Carew punched a single through the left side of the infield. Baylor at second, Carew at first, nobody out. Downing at the plate, the 2-1 pitch. Swing and a foul back to the screen, and a staggering swing by Downing. 2-2. Young Craig Chamberlain, I don't think ever dreamed a year ago he'd be in a game like this. The Angels 1-1 away from clinching a divisional title. Chamberlain just 22 years old on the mound. He sets. 2-2 pitch. Swing, line drive, base hit to right field. Baylor rounding third. Up with the ball is Cowens in right field. Baylor coming to the plate. The throw is not in time. 1-0 Angels. Carew to third. Let's pause for station identification and salute KCMJ Palm Springs. This is the Angels Radio Network.
Tonight, when you set your alarm, don't forget to set your radio to 710 KMPC Los Angeles. Then, when you wake up, you'll be all set for a Good Morning!
Kansas City hanging on to a thread of a hope at this stage. They are 1 loss away from elimination. And very quickly they send Galen Cisco, the pitching coach, to the mound here in the second inning, after the Angels have scored their first run of the game. Baylor racing around from second on the single by Brian Downing, his 73rd RBI of the year. It's 1-0 California here in the second. Runners at first and third with Carew at third and Downing over at first base. Now Bobby Grich at the plate, 297, 29 home runs, 97 RBIs. Slightly close stance, right-hand hitter. He waits, holds that bat high. The pitch from Chamberlain is on the outside edge for a call, strike 1. A fastball that rode back and caught the outside edge of the plate. It's 0-1. Carew down the line at third. Downing off at first base. 1-0 California here in the last of the second. The 1-strike pitch to Grich. Breaking ball breaks away. It's 1-1. Bobby holding up his hand, telling Carew to stay put over at third base as Porter with a backhanded stop. Grich has hit safely in 5 straight games and a big hero last night. Pickoff play ended the game of the ninth, and a superb fielding play triggered a key double play earlier in the game. The 1-1 pitch. Check swing. He went around. It's 1-2. Activity in that Kansas City bullpen. We're still trying to check on it. There's very little illumination down there. It's tough to make out the fellow's number. The 1-2 pitch to Gritch is bounced foul up the third base line, and the count remains 1-2. We think it is Paul Splittor throwing in the right field corner. Chamberlain sets the pitch, fouled away, and the count remains 1-2. Carew over at third. Downing at first. 1-0 Angels in the second. Bobby Gritch at the plate. Behind in the count. A ball and 2 strikes. Bob waits. Chamberlain sets the 1-2 pitch. Inside, fouled off the handle of his bat back to the screen. And it's a ball and 2 strikes. And a good call by home plate umpire Jim Evans. He immediately let everybody in the ballpark know that was a foul ball and not a wild pitch. Carew at third, Downing at first. Nobody out. 1-0 Angels. Last of the second. Gritch at the plate. A ball and 2 strikes. Chamberlain sets. Checks Carew in the 1-2 pitch. Fouled away. A ball and 2 strikes. Quickly, a couple of National League scores will duck them in. Cubs beat the Mets first game of a doubleheader 11-3 and 10. The Mets came back to win it 4-3. Cincinnati a magic number of 4, but trailing 8-2 in the 8th of their game. 1-2 pitch to Gritch, curveball, sweeps outside, it's 2-2. Cardinals beat the Phillies 4-1. That's a final. Pirates lead the Expos. It is 9-4 in that game at the end of 7.5. 2-2 pitch to Gritch, bounces away from home plate. Porter can't find it. Carew scores. 2-0. Angels Downing to second. A wild pitch by young Craig Chamberlain allows Rod Carew to score from third base. Brian Downing advances into scoring position at second as a breaking ball bounced low and away. Darrell Porter tried to get it, couldn't, bounced over his head, back behind home plate, and it's 2-0 Angels. Gritch waits, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Chamberlain sets. Checks Downing. The 3-2 pitch fouled away. The count remains 3-2. Houston trying to stay alive in the Western Division of the National League. They beat the Braves 8-0. J.R. Richard with a shutout. 3-2 pitch. Popped foul, sprayed wide of first base. Back in the stands, 3-2. Gritch continuing to foul off pitch after pitch. Rangy left-hander Paul Splittor still throwing in the Kansas City bullpen. 3-2 pitch to Gritch. Swing and a hard hit ground ball to Cruz. He gloves it, checks the runner at second, throws to first in time. 1 away for the Angels here in the second. 5-3 in the putout of Gritch. And here's Larry Harlow. A walk, 2 singles, a wild pitch, 2-0 California. Harlow waits. The first delivery, a bounding ball through the right side for a base hit. Downing, rounding third, coming home. The throw from Collins, cut off, 3-0 Angels. And that will be all for Chamberlain. Here comes Whitey Herzog. Larry Harlow with his 14th RBI of the year. Brian Downing shaking a multitude of hands in the dugout. Herzog out to the mound, and he'll make a pitching change. So it all began with Don Baylor. Baylor got a pitch up and rolled it out, but foul. Then Chamberlain, working carefully to him, served up 4 balls, all low and away to Don Baylor. He walked him. Then Rod Carew bounced a ball underneath the glove of the third baseman Todd Cruz into left field for a base hit. That base hit chased Don Baylor to second base. Runners at first and second, nobody out. Brian Downing up, and he shot a line drive single to right field. That scored Don Baylor, sent Rod Carew to third base. Then a wild pitch served up by Craig Chamberlain. That allowed Carew to score from third. Brian Downing advancing to second, and that set the stage for Larry Harlow, who bounced a single through the right side of the infield. And as a result, the Angels now lead it by a score of 3-0 here in the second inning. Now the Halos, with 1 out, 3 runs in, a man at first base in Harlow. Jimmy Anderson due up next. And here's left-hander Paul Splitoff warming up. And while that takes place, just a reminder, there's still time to get yourself on the 1980 season box priority list. Enjoy sitting in the best available box seats all season long. Current season box holders, of course, already have their tickets for postseason games. And if you'd like to become a season box holder in 1980, you'll be on that priority list also. If you'd like season box seats for 1980, drop a line to Season Box, Angels, Post Office Box 2000, Anaheim, California, 92803. Give your name, address, phone, and the number of tickets you plan to purchase. Postcard will do. Current season box holders need not apply, of course. Their seats will be held for them. Another year-to-year privilege. Well, I know many of you have been waiting 19 years for this. The Angels trying to drive toward the first flag, and they're coming closer. We'll update that Minnesota game in just a bit. 3-0 Angels, Splitoff on the mound. Left-handed for Kansas City, been in many important games in his career. He sets and he waits. Left-hander's first pitch, a curveball in for a called strike 1. Splitoff this season, 14-17, 11 complete games, a 4.30 ERA. Set by Split. And the pitch. Curveball outside and low. It's 1-1. Another update on Minnesota. At the end of 8, Chicago 8, the Twins 2. So the Twins with possibly 1 inning left in their season. 1-1 pitch, curveball over but low. It's 2-1 to Jimmy Anderson. Harlow over at first base. A walk, a wild pitch, 3 singles for the Angels. 3-0 California here in the second. Splitoff on the mound to the belt. And a 2-1 offering. Fastball inside. It's 3-1. So Splitoff falls behind on the first man that he faces, Jimmy Anderson, who uses that bat like a cane. Crosses his feet at home plate. Checks signs with Bobby Knopp. Knopp through with the singles. Andy back in. He waits. The 3-1 pitch. He takes it on the inside edge. A curveball. 3-2. Splitoff to the belt. And the 3-2 pitch to Anderson. Swing and a drive hit to right field. Playable. There's Cowens backing up. He makes the catch. Harlow retreats to first. So 2 outs for the Angels here in the second. And here's the top of the order, Rick Miller. Splitoff to the belt. And the 3-2 pitch to Anderson. Swing and a drive hit to right field. Playable. There's Cowens backing up. He makes the catch. Harlow retreats to first. So 2 outs for the Angels here in the second. And here's the top of the order, Rick Miller. Miller with a bit of a surprise for Kansas City in the first inning as he flied out deep to right field, sent Cowens all the way back to the warning track and a step from the wall. Very seldom that he ever pulls the ball, and very seldom that he gets to home run depth, but almost did that time. Splittorff sets, and the pitch. That's in there for a called strike. Herzog, because of Chamberlain's inability to outlast the second inning, is being forced tonight to do something that he does not like to do. Splittorff sets, and the 1-strike pitch to Miller. On the outside edge, it's 0-2. He does not like to pitch left-handers against the Angels, figuring to strengthen the team to right-hand hitters in Lansford, Ford, and Baylor, and also Brian Downing and Bobby Grich. Splittorff for the edge on Miller, left-hander to left-hander. He sets, 2-strike pitch. Sprayed foul, a line drive in the lower deck. Splittorff in a rare relief appearance tonight. His last one, July 3rd, 1978 against the Angels in Kansas City, when he went a third of an inning. He waits. 2-0 pitch. Check that. The 0-2 pitch is outside. It's 1-2. Three nothing Angels. Last of the second. 2 outs. Harlow at first. Miller at the plate. Splittorff sets. And the 1-2 pitch. Swing, line drive, base hit to left field. Harlow to second base. And Rick Miller checks in with the Angels for single here in the second. Rick Miller took an outside pitch to the opposite field. And now the Angels will bring 3 consecutive right-hand hitters to the plate against Paul Splittorff. Splittorff sets, and the pitch. Curveball in there for a called strike. As we said, Splittorff very rarely a relief pitcher, but you'll recall in the American League Championship Series a couple of years ago, 2 big relief appearances against the Yankees, one of them a win, momentarily stemming the Yankee tide. The set and the 1-strike pitch. Fastball on the outside edge for a called strike 2. So he has the edge on Carney, 0-2. Splittorff, reading signs from Porter. He sets. And the 2-strike pitch. Curveball outside and low, 1-2. Paul, the top winner in Kansas City Royals history, trying to stave off elimination tonight. His team trails 3-0. 1-2 pitch to Carney. Fastball off the hands, fouled away, 1-2. Splittorff has not always had great records for the Royals, but he's always been a good clutch pitcher. Fans chanting, yes, we can. The 1-2 pitch. Fastball hit deep to left field. Wilson going back to the track, to the fence. He leaps. He makes the catch. Willie Wilson taking an extra base hit away from Carney Lansford with the great speed that he has, racing back to the bullpen gate, leaping high in the air and pulling away that extra base drive off the bat of Carney Lansford. So the Angels gone in their half of the second. They pick up 3 runs on a total of 4 hits. No errors. They leave 2. And at the end of 2 in Anaheim, it's the Angels 3, the Royals nothing.
Well, you should see us now. We like to take a bow. 'Cause we're
Once you fly the competition to Denver, you'll know just how good we are. And we're also good at getting you there at a time that suits you. Only Continental has 11 flights a day from Los Angeles International, Burbank, and Ontario airports. That's more than any other airline. And on every flight, we give you plenty of legroom, headroom, and free stereo. So Continental doesn't mind the competition. It just makes us look better.
You should try us. You should see us now.
Let Continental show you the way to Denver from either Los Angeles International, Burbank, or Ontario Airport. Call today for details.
Have an update on the Chicago-Minnesota score. Chicago has finished its at-bat in the 9th inning, so it's the last of the 9th in Bloomington, Minnesota. And the score, Chicago 9 and Minnesota 2. So they are half an inning away from elimination in Bloomington, Minnesota. And as soon as we have the final, we'll give it to you.
First baseman, John Watson.
Now, Willie Wilson with a very big play as he saved at least 2 runs, ending the 2nd inning with a leaping catch against the bullpen gate of a high drive off the bat of Carney Lansford. It's 3-0 Angels. Wathan at the plate here in the 3rd. He takes a called strike 1. Tanana has retired the first 6 Royals in order, and he struck out the last man he faced, Darrell Porter. Wathan, Washington, Cruz here in the 3rd. Curveball bends around the outside part of the plate. It's 1-2. Tanana, at least in the first 2 innings, throwing better than we've seen him throw in a couple of years. The 1-1 pitch, a fastball across the letters. Wathan did not like the call. He thought it was high. A ball and 2 strikes to the Duke. Now with 2 strikes, crowd picks up the tempo, and the 1-2 pitch. Curveball swept foul in the Angel dugout. 1-2. The Angel pitching staff just might be rounding into shape in the nick of time. 3 straight complete game wins for the first time since April 11th, 12th, and 13th. 1-2 pitch. Chopped to the 3rd baseman, Lansford. Cuts it off. Throws to first. 1 away. And Angels baseball brought to you by Chevron USA. Right now at Chevron, you can save up to $15.49 on Atlas Silver Air fiberglass belted radial tires, or up to $20 on Atlas Golden Air 2 steel belted radials. That's up to $80 off the regular station price on a set of 4 at participating Chevron stations through October 14th. 1 out for KC in the 3rd. UL Washington at the plate. Tanana winds and the pitch. Swing and a pop-up on the infield. Anderson going back to the outfield grass behind second. He makes the catch. 8 straight retired by Tanana. And here's Todd Cruz. Cruz picked up from the National League early this year by Kansas City. Cruz in 50 games, hitting .208, used mainly as a defensive replacement. Frank winds, and the first pitch to him is a fastball that catches the corner for a called strike 1. Cruz for 5 years in the Phillies organization, and now with the Royals. 1 strike pitch, curveball sweeps low, 1-1. At Bloomington, Minnesota, the Twins down to their final 3 outs. In Anaheim, the Royals down to their final game. They cannot afford to lose tonight. If they do, it's all over for them. The 1-1 pitch, swing and a fly ball hit to center field. Miller over toward the gap in left center, hauls it in. 1, 2, 3 for KC as Tanana waltzes through the order in 3 consecutive innings. And at the end of 2.5, it's the Angels 3, the Royals nothing.
The 1980 Chevrolets are coming, America, and your Chevy dealer must make room for them. So if you're ready for a really smart buy, this is your chance to pick up on a great Chevy value. Because right now, your Chevy dealer's year-end car and truck clearance is on. And what a great selection, too. Caprices, Impalas, Monte Carlos, and Malibus, plus tough, full-size Chevy pickups, vans, and Blazers. Now is the time for you to get in on the full-size room, ride, and comfort of the new Chevrolet Caprice and Impala, America's favorite full-size cars and wagons. And if your taste runs toward the distinctive Chevrolet Monte Carlo or the roomy Chevy Malibu, now is the time to buy. They're the cars and trucks you want, America, and they're all waiting for you now during your Chevy dealer's year-end car and truck clearance. So see your Chevy dealer today and get a great Chevy value. All you have to do is hurry.
3-0 Angels at the end of 2.5 here in Anaheim. Dan Ford, Don Baylor, Rod Carew for the Halos in their half of the third. Second inning, the productive inning. Baylor leadoff walk, Carew a single, Downing a single and RBI. Wild pitch brought in another run. Harlow with an RBI on a single. Then Miller with a single. 2 outs, runners at first and second, and Lansford hit a deep drive to left field, sent Wilson all the way back to the bullpen gate where he leaped to make the catch. And that saved a couple of runs for Kansas City. And so it's 3-0 California as they head to the third and Dan Ford. Paul split off on the mound, the high kick for the left-hander, and a curveball is outside. They appeal on the check swing. He did not pull the trigger. It's 1-0. Disco at the plate. The pitch from split off. Curveball snaps in for a called strike one. We have contact by telephone with Bloomington, Minnesota. Dick Nelson on the phone, and he will give us an update just as quickly as we have it on that Minnesota game. 1-1 pitch is outside. It's 2-1 to Ford. So stay tuned. Big night tonight. Big doings at the Big A as the Angels trying to pick up a division clinching win. 2-1 pitch swung on and missed. It's 2-2. All right, now final score from Bloomington, Minnesota. Chicago 9, Minnesota 3. Now it comes down to this game tonight in Anaheim as the Minnesota Twins now, if the Angels win, they also are eliminated along with Kansas City. The 2-2 pitch. Chopper over the mound. Back to second base. High hop for White. Whips a throw to first in time. We'll hear Dennis Packard momentarily again announce the score here in Anaheim Stadium. Most of you in the ballpark listening to the radio, letting out that big cheer, and split off on the mound, turn around. He's trying to figure out what went on. 9-3, Chicago. Fastball to Baylor, taken up high, ball one. 3 runs, 4 hits, and no errors for the Angels. 0-0-0 for the Royals. The pitch. Fastball fouled away, wide to first, back in the stands. 1-1. So, it is in the Angels' hands right now. A victory tonight, and the division flag is theirs. They lead 3-0, last of the third. Split off second, Kansas City pitcher. 1-1 pitch, curveball, fly ball, shallow center field. Coming in is Otis. He's there and makes the catch. 2 gone for the Angels in the third. Here's Rod Carew.
First baseman, Rod Carew.
Carew with a single, his first time up. Scored on a wild pitch by the starter, Chamberlain. who went 1 1/3, gave up 3 runs, all of them earned. Splitoff winds, the high kick and the pitch. A fastball for a called strike 1. .63, 210-pounder, Paul Splitoff. Blonde left-hander, the high to kick, and the bunt is up the third baseline, fielded by Cruz. Bare hands, won't make a play. That's a base hit, and let's pause for station identification. This is the Angels Radio Network.
UCLA football back on KMPC Saturday.
Bayshore carrying it out into the end zone for a touchdown.
Fred Hessler reminding you it's UCLA Ohio State, Saturday, 12:25.
KMPC.
A 2-out single by Carew. As he bunted the ball up the third baseline, Cruz could not make the play. Here's Brian Downing, 2 outs, a man on, 3-0 California. Carew goes. The curveball is mishandled by Porter. Stolen base for Carew. Well, he picked the perfect pitch to steal on. A curveball, slow and lazy in its route to home plate. And Porter, when it got there, tried to hurry up and catch the ball and make his throw, and it was bobbled. And so Carew with a stolen base. Rod in scoring position at second. That gives Downing a shot. He's at the plate. RBI on a single, his first time up. Splitoff checks the runner, a double check, and the 1-0 pitch. A fastball inside. It's 2-0. And the fans here in Anaheim Stadium picking up the cry, yes, we can, the battle cry all year. The 2-0 pitch, fastball down low, 3-0. Carew at second base, his 18th stolen base of the year. 2 outs for the Angels. Here in the third, they lead 3-0. Minnesota lost 9-3 moments ago to Chicago in Bloomington, Minnesota. 3-0 pitch to Downing is down low, back to the screen, ball 4. Carew around to third, Porter up with the ball and throws to Splitoff. Carew hangs on at third. There'll be a walk. And we would assume a wild pitch. Nope, they're going to call it a pass ball. Rich at the plate, Carew at third. Downing over at first base, 2 outs. Bobby waits, holds that bat high. Left-handed Splitoff sets and the pitch. Fastball over but low, ball 1. Splitoff to the belt, and the 1-0 pitch. Fastball outside, 2-0. The line score in the Chicago-Minnesota game, the White Sox 9 runs, 16 hits, 2 errors. The Twins 3 runs, 7 hits, and 3 errors. Kravik, the winning pitcher, Zahn, the losing pitcher. Set by Splitoff, and the 2-0 pitch. Swing and a high fly ball hit to medium depth right field. Coasting in is Cowens. He makes the catch. That's all for the Angels in their half of the third. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 2 men left. And here's the announcement of that Minnesota game.
9, Minnesota Twins, 3.
And that tells the story right there. Here at the end of 3-0 California.
100 years ago, when Chevron drilled its first oil wells, people may have thought of oil as an alternate source of energy. Coal was more popular for heating. Whale oil lit more lamps. And later, the first automobiles had steam engines burning coal or wood, not gasoline. But time and circumstance have turned the tables, and though America will continue to rely on oil and gas for years to come, some of those older sources of energy have new importance as alternate sources for the future. So at Chevron, along with stepping up our search for oil, we've been expanding our efforts with some energy old-timers. For instance, Chevron scientists are studying ways of turning coal into liquid fuel and clean-burning gas. We're also looking into geothermal steam, oil shale, and tar sands. Chevron's even exploring ways to harness man's oldest source of energy, the sun. With 100 years of experience, Chevron has a good running start at helping alternate energy contribute to America's energy needs.
From Anaheim Stadium, I'm Don Drysdale along with Al Wisk and our producer-engineer Dick Nelson. It's 3-0 Angels after 3 complete. The Angels 3 runs on 5 hits. As we go to the Kansas City 4th inning of play, they'll go to the top of the order. It'll be Willie Wilson, then Frank White, and Hal McRae. Wilson bounced ashort his first time at bat.
Wilson.
Wilson, a switch hitter, hitting from the right side off of the left-handed pitching of Tanana. Lansford up on the grass at third. Carew a couple of steps behind the bag at first. Tanana rocks into motion, and the pitch to Wilson. Line drive center field. Moving in back to his left is Miller to run it down. Now there's one gone, and Frank White comes on. He flied to Harlow and left his first time at bat.
Frank White.
White starting tonight at 261, 9 home runs, 45 RBIs on the year. Tanana winds, and the first pitch to White is a change high. The count 1-0. 1 ball, no strikes the count. 1 out, nobody on. 3-0 Angels, top of the 4th. Tanana winds, and he comes right back. Next pitch swung on and missed, and the count 1-1. A fastball tailing away from White. One and one the count. Tanana reads the signs of Downing. Left-hander rocks into motion, and here's the 1-1 pitch. Fastball spins him out of the way inside. The count 2-1. 2 balls a strike. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. An excellent change thrown by Tanana. And the count 2-2. White way out in front. A very weak swing. Just a one-hand swing and just kind of doing a little pirouette in the batter's box. Now the count 2-2. And the fans get their rhythmic hand clapping going as they look for the strikeout. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Line drive up the middle. Coming on is Miller. He can't get it. That will drop for a base hit. Now Frank White picks up the first hit of the night for Kansas City. A little looping line drive hit into center field. And we go to Hal McRae, the designated hitter.
Hal McRae.
McRae bounced to third, or check that to short his first time at bat. Tanana working out of the stretch for the first time tonight. He sets and delivers a fastball inside corner. Strike one call. McRae not too happy with that call. Oh, and 1 the count. Tanana again kicks and delivers a ground ball hit foul by Chuck Hiller down the third base line. Chuck coaching at third for Kansas City. Boros over at first. Some scores. It was the White Sox 9-3 over Minnesota. Texas 5-3 over the Oakland A's. Milwaukee defeated Seattle 7-6. Toronto over Boston 5-3, and Detroit over Baltimore 3-2, with the Yankees defeating Cleveland 7-5. That's all the scores in the American League. Here's a 2-strike pitch inside, and the count 1-2. National League, the Dodgers scored 8 runs in the second inning, and they lead the Giants by a score of 9-0, with the Giants hitting in the bottom of the third. Ron Say, his 28th home run of the year, a grand slammer. Dan again ready, kicks and delivers a curveball down low, bounces away from Downing, but he keeps it in front of him, and White cannot go anywhere. 2-2 the count. The Cubs and the Mets split. The first game going to Chicago 11-3. The second game in 10 innings to the Mets 4-3. San Diego defeated Cincinnati 8-2. The Cardinals over the Phillies 4-1. The Pirates over Montreal 10-4. And Houston picked up a game back on the Reds by an 8-0 shutout over Atlanta. James Rodney Richard, his 17th win of the year. Here's the next pitch to McRae. Foul back and out of play. And the count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tanana reading the signs of Downing. McRae wig-wagging the bat back and forth. Now sets. Tanana delivers a curveball, bounce foul. There the count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two and two the count. Tanana again to the stretch. He sets 2-2 pitch. Fly ball popped up. Shallow right field. Gritch out. Ford coming on. It's Ford calling. Ford for the catch. Now there's 2 gone. And that will bring on Amos Otis. And a reminder that Angel Baseball is brought to you by Budweiser. And the next time that you're having a backyard barbecue, don't forget the Budweiser. You know, the king of beers goes great with good food and good friends. Otis bounced to Gritch at second his first time at bat. Wide away from first. A pitch to Otis hits him. Otis walking down the line to first base. To second base is White. And that will bring on Al Cowens, the right fielder. Now White at second base and Otis at first. Tanana trying to move that ball inside to Otis and got it too far in, nicked him, and Cowan steps in. Now all of a sudden, Kansas City with only 1 hit in the ball game, and they have the tying run standing at home plate. In the name of Al Cowens. Tanana ready to go to work. He sets, he checks White. The pitch to Cowens is swung on and missed, and the count is 0-1, and Cowens trying to tie it up with that swing. No balls, 1 strike to count. Lansford back at third, Anderson deep at short, Gritch the same at second. Tanana to the stretch, and the pitch to Cowens, a curveball, a diving, no, and it goes under the glove of Lansford. Here comes White around third. He will score. Stopping at second is Otis, and it's 3-1 Angels. Lansford a little bit unhappy with himself right there. I think Lansford took the dive and realized maybe that he didn't have to dive after the ball. The ball went under his glove, and it scooted out into shallow left field. White scoring from second base. It's 3-1 Angels, and Darrell Porter comes on. Porter struck out his first time at bat. The pitch by Tanana fouled back out of play, and he got a fastball in a dangerous spot to Porter, a little bit in and up. And Porter had a good swing at it. 0-1 the count. And we get some action in the Angel bullpen. Right-hander John Montague gets up and starts to throw. Angels 3, the Royals 1. We're in the top of the fourth. Tanana reading the signs of Downing. Left-hander sets and backs off. Otis at second, Cowens at first. Tanana nods yes. Now the left-hander to the stretch, and the pitch to Porter gets through. Downing and goes to the backstop, and the runners move up 90 feet. Now we'll see how they want to score it. That curveball exploding in the dirt and going right between the wickets of Downing to the backstop, and that will be a wild pitch for Tanana. Now the count 1-1 to Porter. Tanana will work out of the windup. Otis down the line at third. Cowens at second. Otis a big lead down the line at third, and you better watch him. He is way down the line at third. And the pitch by Tanana fouled back out of play. Lansford is way back and off the line at third. Otis, he's close to being a third of the way down the line. With his acceleration and Tanana going into that full windup, now here he comes again. Then stops. Tanana checking with Downing. Left-hander winds, and here's the next pitch to Porter. Fly ball center field, playable. Miller going back, has the room. He's there, makes the catch, and that is out number 3. Now the Royals are retired in the fourth inning. A run on 2 hits. No errors, and they leave 2. And after 3.5 at the half, right now it is the Angels 3 and the Royals 1.
And now, here's to all the Angel coaches, those pros of pros who call the shots along the base pass and know how to make the most of each player's talents. Coach, this bud's for you.
This bud's for you, for being on the job and working hard all day. So here's to you, for all you do. The king of beers is coming through. This bud's for you.
Yeah, to the coach who keeps our bullpen ready, to the coach who keeps our batters battling, and to all you unsung heroes, here it is. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser. Here's to you.
For all you do, this bud's for you.
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
As we get ready to go to the bottom half of the fourth inning, it will be Harlow to lead it off. He'll be followed by Anderson and then Miller in that order to face Splittorff. Now Harlow, Anderson, and Miller, the first 3 to face Paul Splittorff. Boy, that's a big game. The Padres over Cincinnati 8-2 tonight. Pittsburgh, they're back in their seesaw event with Montreal, defeating the Expos 10-4. Now the Pirates, again, a half a game on top. They just keep going half to half, back and forth. They did it twice last night as they played a doubleheader and split. So Larry Harlow comes on. First pitch to Harlow is a drag bunt attempt, just popped to Wathan at first, and there's one away. Jimmy Anderson, the hitter. He flied to right his first time at bat.
The shortstop, Jim Anderson.
Infield straight away for Anderson. The outfield is slightly over in right center field. Splittorf delivers the first pitch to Anderson, a curveball outside, ball one. 1 ball and no strikes to count. 1 out, Angels 3, Kansas City 1. We're in the bottom of the 4th. Splittorf comes right back. Next pitch, curveball, low, and the count 2-0. Splittorf thought he had it, and so did Porter. Rick Miller on deck as Splittorf delivers a 2-0 pitch. A drive hit to left field well, but on the line, right at Wilson as he drops to his knees to make the catch. That ball sinking on him. Now Anderson hit it hard, but right to Willie Wilson in left field. That will bring on Rick Miller. Miller flying to right, and he singled in the 2nd inning. Rick has extended his hitting streak to 7 games. First pitch to Rick is taken down low. The count 1-0. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Hit foul, back left side out of play. Back off of the net and bounces down into the lower seats. 1-1 the count. Here's the 1-1 pitch. A slow curve hangs inside, and the count goes to 2-1. 2 balls a strike. Now Miller backing out, Splittorf winding. Now Paul ready to go. Here's a 2-1 pitch. Miller sends a ground ball right side. 2 hops to White. He goes to Wathan in time, and the Angels are retired in order here in the 4th inning. 3 up, 3 down. No runs, no hits, no errors. They leave nobody. And after 4 complete, it's the Angels 3, Kansas City 1. This is Don Drysdale with another interview for Continental Airlines with that famous umpire, White Cane Walker.
Oh, hi, Don. When they put that wall in here?
Well, it's always been there.
Oh, I better put these on.
You mean to tell me you wear glasses?
Oh, only for walking.
Well, today we have a little quiz, Ump. Now, who holds the record for the most consecutive shutouts?
You do.
And who holds the record for the most flights to Houston?
The Astros.
Ah, come on. No, Continental Airlines. They have 14 flights every day. All on big, comfortable golden jets with free stereo and great Continental service.
That's some pitch, Don.
Well, Continental's some airline, and they even save you up to 50% off regular coach with their Super Saver fare.
Wow.
And there are some restrictions, so call your travel agent or Continental.
You bet I'll call them.
Well, now, about the first inning call. Now, it looked to me like it was a ball.
You're out of line, Donald. Out, out, out.
As we go to the top of the 5th, it will be John Wathan to lead it off, followed by U.L. Washington, and then Todd Cruz in that order to face left-hander Frank Tanana.
First baseman, John Wathan.
Wathan bounced to third his first time at bat. Tanana ready to go to work. The infield, outfield, straight away. Tanana checking signs with Downing. Now the left-hander winds, and the pitch to Wathan. He pushes a bunt foul right side, and the count is 0-1. Trying to push it by Tanana. Gritch is back deep at second base. By the way, we'd like to pass along our best to Bobby's grandmother. Miss Nancy's in the hospital. We've seen her out here many times this year and a provider of many goodies to the booth for us, and we certainly wish her well and hope to see her out here again soon. There's a line drive right to Lansford at third. Now there's one away. And UL Washington comes on. He popped to Anderson at short. Angel Baseball is brought to you by Continental Airlines. And when you've got a small package that has to be delivered today, well, don't panic, because PBX Continental's Proud Bird Express gives small packages top priority. And with PBX, you can have your small package delivered nationwide in a matter of hours. So call today. Nothing's quicker or easier than Continental's PBX. Ground ball up the middle. Gritch can't get it. Base hit right center field.
Third baseman, Todd Cruz.
Now Washington is singled by Bobby Gritch at second base, and here's Todd Cruz, the third baseman. Cruz kind of a pull hitter, and the bell rings again in the Angel bullpen. Right-hander John Montague gets up and starts the throw. Washington at first, Carew holding. Tanana sets, and the pitch to Cruz is taken for a strike, and the count is 0-1. No balls and a strike to count. Here's the one strike pitch, and a good change is swung on and missed, and the count is 0-2. No balls and two strikes. Washington away at first base. Tanana set at the belt. Checks the runner. Two-strike pitch just inside. A fastball to count 1-2. Lansford back at third. Anderson at short, kind of smoothing out the ground. Tanana reading signs of downing. Now the left-hander sets, kicks, and delivers a curveball. Strike three call. Now Cruz strikes out, and Willie Wilson comes on with 2 outs. That's the second strikeout for Tanana. Wilson has bounced to short. He's lined to center. Keep an eye on Washington at first. He has good speed. The leadoff hitter Wilson at the plate. Tanana ready to go. The pitch to Wilson is inside, ball 1. Washington was 10 stolen bases on the year. He's been caught 6 times. Whitey Herzog, when he gets speed on the bases, he'll turn them loose. Tanana ready, kicks and delivers to Wilson. Fly ball center field. Miller going back, giving ground. He's there to make the catch. Now Kansas City gone in the 5th inning. No runs, a hit, no errors. They leave 1 at the halfway point. It's the Angels 3 and Kansas City 1. Here's a baseball idea for the off-season, a nice gift for your baseball-minded youngster. Scouting supervisor Larry Himes and Cal State Fullerton Coach of the Year Augie Garrido are planning a Christmas holidays instructional camp for youngsters. Now, among the guest members of the staff will be Bobby Gritch, Brian Downing, Mark Clear, Thad Bosley, Brian Harper, Dodgers scout Marty Keough, White Sox supervisor Gary Johnson, Met scout John Herbold, and several members of the Angel Farm System. The dates are December 26th through the 29th. Again, those dates, December 26th through 29th. And to receive a colorful brochure on the camp, well, write to Post Office Box 3636, Fullerton, California, 92634. Or call area code 714-524-1600. Again, that number, 524-1600. The Angel, the country baseball camp, and your youngster would really enjoy every minute of it. Right now, let's pause for station identification. This is the Angels Radio Network.
This is KMPC Los Angeles, and I'm Hilly Rose, inviting you to join me nightly 7 to 10 when the Angels aren't playing, and we'll talk about what's happening in our world, especially right here in Southern California. Get involved with Hilly Rose on 710 KMPC.
Connie Lansford comes on, and he takes a strike over the outside corner. It'll be Lansford, Ford, and Baylor. They will face split off, and And there's a strike over the inside corner, and the count is 0-2. Lansford, Ford, and Baylor, the first three to face Paul Splittorff here in the Angel fifth inning. Here's a two-strike pitch to Carney. Slow curve, checked on. They appeal. They say no. The count 1-2. Here's the 1-2 pitch, a curveball outside, and the count 2-2. It'll be Lansford, Ford, and Baylor. They will face Splittorff. And there's a strike over the inside corner, and the count is 0-2. Lansford, Ford, and Baylor, the first three to face Paul Splittorff here in the Angel fifth inning. Here's a two-strike pitch to Carney. Slow curve, checked on. They appeal. They say no. The count 1-2. Here's the 1-2 pitch, a curveball outside, and the count 2-2. Again, Splittorff just kind of flipping that curveball up there like you'd be out fishing in your best fishing hole and just try and flick it out there right in the middle of it. Here's a 2-2 pitch, curveball popped up on the infield. Weekly to the shortstop, Washington. He makes the catch, and that is out number one. Now that will bring on Danny Ford, who's bounced to the second baseman. White is 2 times at bat tonight. Dan 0 for 2. Splittorff delivers a Ford, a fastball foul back and out of play. 0-1 to count. Danny, from the first time at bat after a swing or two, he has really kind of pulled that rib cage, but he's been staying right in there. You can see that he will swing and then grimace and just kind of hang those shoulders. Boy, those rib cage injuries, they do hurt. Here's this 1-strike pitch just outside, and the count 1-1. A ball and a strike to Danny Ford. Here's the 1-1 pitch, a curveball waved at and missed, and the count 1-2. Splittorff, who does not throw as he once did, he'll take a little bit off the curveball, mix a fastball around, kind of use the curveball more as almost like a change curve. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Don Baylor on deck. Splittorff winds, and here's the pitch to Ford. Foul back. There's a fastball. Tried to tie him up. Count remains at 1-2. A sellout crowd here at Anaheim Stadium tonight. Minnesota has lost to the Chicago White Sox. That score 9-3 at Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota. Splittorff winds the 1-2 pitch, a curveball hit foul outside of third. And the count remains at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bader on deck, nobody on, 1 out. Angels 3, Kansas City 1. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Ford checks inside, a fastball, and the count 2-2. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Dan, a foul back onto the net, and the count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes. $40,631 here tonight. Here's the 2-2 pitch. A bouncer hit to the hole. Over is the shortstop, Washington, and he falls down and can't make a play. Now that will be a base hit for Danny Ford. And Don Bader comes on. That ball hit to the hole. Cruz could not get it. Washington went over, backhanded, and went to set, and both feet just skidded out from underneath of him. Now here's Don Bader with Ford at first. Carew on deck. Splittorf ready to go to the stretch. The pitch to Bader. Popped up, shallow right center field. White going out and has a play and makes a catch, and that is out number 2. Now there's 2 gone, and that will bring on Carew, who is 2 for 2 tonight.
Carew.
Splittorf ready to go. Porter sets outside. The pitch to Carew is outside a fastball. The count 1-0. Fans have kind of quieted down since the inning where the Angels have scored 3. But the Angels on top by the score of 3-1. Ford away at first. Splittorf sets. A pitch to Carew is hit foul left side and out of play. Back up into the top deck. Now the count is even, and a ball and a strike. Here's a 1-1 pitch, a ground ball up the middle, and Washington can't get it. That's a base hit center field. Otis has it, and Ford stops at second base. Gets the ball back into Washington, and Brian Downing comes on. Now Rod Carew 3 for 3 tonight. That's hit number 4 off of Splittorf, and now Brian Downing comes on. And they get some action again in the bullpen for Kansas City. Right-hander Steve Busby up and throwing again. The Angels would like to score a few more runs and bust it open a little bit. They've scored their 3, but then they've just kind of laid right there. Kansas City has picked up a run in the 4th. Now here with 2 outs, they have Ford at second base, Carew at first, and Downing the hitter. Brian tonight is 1 for 1. He singled and scored and walked. Now Splittorf set at the belt as the crowd comes to life. A curveball taken for a strike, and the count is 0-1. Splittorf again ready to go. Checks forward. Here's the 1-strike pitch. A fastball taken low, and the count 1-1. One ball and 1 strike the count. Splittorf to the stretch. Here's the 1-1 pitch. A curveball hit to the hole. Base hit left field. For the round third, here comes Wilson. The throw to the plate is cut off and bounced away by Walton as the runners move up 90 feet. Carew to third, Downing a second. It's 4-1, California. Brian Downing, a base hit between Cruz and Washington. The throw coming to the plate was trying to be cut off by the first baseman, Wathan. Wathan came on, got just the tip of the glove on it. The ball deflected and was rolling towards the Angel on deck circle. It went past that. It almost went into the photographer's well. And now they will walk Rich and they will go to Harlow. Now Carew is at third, with Downing at second. The Angels on top by 3. They lead it 4-1. That is ball 2 outside. has ball 4, and Bobby Grich draws the intentional walk. And Larry Harlow comes on. Harlow 1 for 2 tonight. Now Carew at third, Downing at second, Grich at first. On deck, Jimmy Anderson. Now the fans again come to life as Splittorf will pitch out of the full windup. Left-hander winds and a pitch to Harlow outside, ball 1. One ball, no strikes the count. Bases loaded, a run in. Angels lead it 4-1. Splittorf, as the fans come alive, coming onto their feet. The pitch to Split outside, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes to count. Carew down the line at third, Downing away at second. Fans again come up cheering, chanting, clapping, waving, on their feet. Splittorf winds, the left-hander's 2-0 pitch is fouled away. And the count 2-1. The Angel fans right now know a base hit can bust it open. Two balls and a strike. Splittorf checking Carew down the line at third. Here's a 2-1 pitch, foul off of the mask of Porter, and the count 2-2. Harlow singled his first time at bat, drove in a run. 2 balls, 2 strikes. There's 2 outs. The base is loaded. Splittorf reading signs of Porter. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Foul off the hands again. That's up in the second deck on the third base side, and the count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes. As Splittorf with a new ball takes a little walk around the mound. Wilson shallow, fairly shallow towards the line and left. Otis slightly in left center. As Splittorf reads the signs of his catcher, Porter. The left-hander winds, and here's a 2-2 pitch. Is hit back up to the middle and speared by Splittorf. He flips onto Wathan and the side retire. Now the Angels are gone in the 5th inning, but they pick up a run on 3 hits. No errors. They leave the bases loaded. And after 5, they lead Kansas City 4-1.
The 1980 Chevrolets are coming, America, and your Chevy dealer must make room for them. So if you're ready for a really smart buy, this is your chance to pick up on a great Chevy value. Because right now, your Chevy dealer's year-end car and truck clearance is on. And what a great selection, too. Caprices, Impalas, Monte Carlos, and Malibus, plus tough, full-size Chevy pickups, vans, and Blazers. Now is the time for you to get in on the full-size room, ride, and comfort of the new Chevrolet Caprice and Impala, America's favorite full-size cars and wagons. And if your taste runs toward the distinctive Chevrolet Monte Carlo or the roomy Chevy Malibu, now is the time to buy. They're the cars and trucks you want, America, and they're all waiting for you now during your Chevy dealer's year-end car and truck clearance. So see your Chevy dealer today and get a great Chevy value. All you have to do is hurry.
Watch for the L4. St. Louis 4. Philadelphia 1.
As we go to the top half of the 6th inning, and Kansas City, they will go to Frank White. He will lead it off. Ben McRae and Otis to face Frank Tanana. Angels 4, Kansas City 1. The only other game underway at Candlestick Park in San Francisco. The Dodgers still lead the Giants by a score of 9-0. That's after 5 complete. Say, a grand slammer, his 28th home run of the year. Thomason at his 14th. Now Frank White to lead it off. He had the first base hit of the ball game, a soft line drive single in the 4th inning. Later came on to score the only Kansas City run. Tanana reading signs of Downing, and the left-hander's first pitch is popped up. That'll come back, and Downing comes back to the net, and that'll be on the net. Home plate umpire Jim Evans plays it on the first hop, and he'll keep it in play. Gives it back to Tanana. 0-1 the count. Tanana winds, and he comes back. The one-strike pitch, a bunt up to third base side, foul. Now White trying to bunt his way on. Lansford back at third, and White will have to come back. The count is 0-2. Now Tanana reading the signs of Downing. Frank winds, and here's a 2-strike pitch. A ground ball on 2 hops hit to Anderson. Has to lay back and has to hurry. Throws to Getty. Now there's one gone, and White comes on. He's bounced to short. I should say McRae to short and flying to right. White leading off the inning, bouncing to Anderson. 1 away. Tanana's first pitch, a curveball. That's in and over. Catches the inside corner, and McRae says to Jim Evans, that ball's low. He said, no, it's not. 0-1 the count. Tanana winds, and here's the next pitch. A bouncer up the middle. Anderson to his left from behind the bag. Throws to Getty. 2 gone. Amos Otis comes on. Angel Baseball is brought to you by Chevrolet, and Chevrolet, like baseball, is another All-American favorite. Otis tonight has bounced a second. He was hit by a pitch. Tanana delivers a first pitch outside and high. The count 1-0. Here's the 1-0 pitch by Tanana. High fly ball. Shallow left center. Right there, Miller, to make the catch, and that is out number 3. And the Royals are gone in the 6th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors. They leave nobody. And after 5.5, it remains the Angels 4 and Kansas City 1.
Pardon me.
Yes?
Did you know, compared to conventional tires, radials save gas?
Save gas?
Save gas. And now you can save on radials during Chevron's 100th anniversary Atlas Radial Tire Sale.
Atlas Radial Tire Sale. Tell us more.
Okay, all Atlas Radial tires are on sale. Save up to $15.49 on Atlas Silver Air fiberglass belted radials, the affordable replacement radial tire.
$15.49 off Silver Airs.
And you can also save up to $20 on Atlas Golden Air 2 steel belted radials. That's up to $80 off a set of 4 of Chevron's best Atlas radials, the Golden Air 2s.
Golden Air 2, Golden Air 2. Save on the best. Sounds great to us.
Savings are based on regular station prices through October 14th.
Chevron's 100th anniversary Atlas Radial Tire Sale.
At your participating Chevron station.
As we go to the Angels' 6th inning of play, Jimmy Anderson will lead it off. He'll be followed by Miller and Lansford, the first 3 to face left-hander Paul Swidorf. As the fans here at Anaheim Stadium get a little chant going of "Yes, we can." And the Angels, they're on top by a score of 4-1. Anderson tonight is flying to right. He's lined hard to left. Splittorff winds in the first pitch. A fastball checked on high. The count 1-0. Splittorff delivers the next pitch. Down low, a curveball, and the count 2-0. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Line to right center field. Right there is Otis. Stops and makes the catch. Now Anderson hits it hard, but right to Amos Otis in right center field. And we go to the top of the order and Rick Miller. Miller tonight is 1 for 3. Miller sends a ground ball right side. White, a good play, but then can't make the throw. Frank White going to the hole, made the play, and then as he turned, went to shift and go to Splittorff, he could not hold on to the ball. So Miller with a base hit. Hit number 6 off of Splittorff, and Carney Lansford comes on. Carney's taking the collar tonight. Is popped to second, flying to left, and popped to short. Here comes Whitey Herzog. Steve Busby had been throwing in the bullpen, and we'll see who's down there now. I believe Quisenberry is one. There's 2 right-hander. Quisenberry is one. And Eddie Rodriguez is the other. Now Lansford the hitter, as Herzog stands and talks to his veteran left-hander. And now Jim Evans, as Whitey Herzog looks to the bullpen. They will go to the bullpen, and that'll be all for Splittorff. As Splittorff will leave, and we'll see which of the two comes on, Quisenberry or Rodriguez. It'll be Quisenberry. Now while Quisenberry makes his way in, and if you're thinking ahead and wondering what to buy for a Christmas gift to that baseball-minded person on your list, well, keep in mind the Angels sell gift certificates which can be used for tickets of their choice. Just drop a line to Angel Post Office Box 2000, Anaheim, California 92803 for the details. Now Quisenberry making his way to the mound. We'll go down the scores for you. The White Sox defeated Minnesota by a score of 9-3. Kravik over Zahn. It was Texas 5-3 over Oakland. Kern over Kingman. Milwaukee defeated Seattle 7-6. Augustine over Raleigh. Money and Ogilvie homered. Toronto 5-3 over Boston. Steve over Stanley. Hobson his 27th home run of the year. And Detroit over Baltimore 3-2. Morris over Tippy Martinez. Gibson his first home run of the year. And the Yankees 7-5 over Cleveland. It was Davis over Wisp, Bond, Spencer, and Gamble homered. At Candlestick in San Francisco, through 5, 9-0. The Dodgers over the Giants. Chicago defeated the Mets 11-3 in the first of 2. McLaughlin over Scott. The second game in 10 innings went to the Mets 4-3. Allen over Tidrow. The Padres over the Reds by a score of 8-2. Shirley over Norman, Concepcion, and Foster homered. The Cardinals over the Phillies by a score of 4-1. Fulgham over Larson. Templeton and Rose extended his hitting streak to 23 games. Pittsburgh 10-4 winners over Montreal. Rooker over Sanderson. Stargell hit 2, his 30th and 31st of the year. Parrish his 30th. And Houston shut out Atlanta 8-0. A 4-hitter for James Rodney Richard. He is now 17-13. Boggs took the loss 0-2. Now Quisenberry has completed his warm-up tosses. Miller at first. Lansford stands in. 1 out, 1 on. Angels 4 and Kansas City 1. Quisenberry making his 32nd appearance of the year, record of 3-2 and 5 saves. Pitch to Lansford inside, ball 1. One ball, no strikes to count. Here's the 1-0 pitch outside, and the count goes to 2-0. Danny Ford on deck. Busby and Christensen throwing in the bullpen. Quisenberry ready to go. The pitch to Lansford catches the inside corner, and the count 2-1. Lansford shaking his head. He doesn't really care for that call. Two balls and a strike. Ford on deck, Miller at first, 1 out in the Angels 6th. Quisenberry ready, the runner goes. The pitch is a chopper hit to UL Washington at short. He goes on to Wathan in time with Miller moving to second base. Now Danny Ford will come on, and on deck is Don Baylor.
Right fielder, Dan Ford.
Danny tonight is 1 for 3 with a run scored. Bounced to second twice. He singled his last time at bat and later scored. Now Miller at second base, 2 outs. Quisenberry ready to go to work. The right-hander sets out to belt. The pitch to Ford is over the outside part of the plate, and the count is 0-1. Quisenberry makes his home right here in Anaheim. Born in Santa Monica. The pitch is a bouncer foul. And the count 0-2. Attended Orange Coast College and Laverne College. No balls, 2 strikes to count. Quisenberry reading the signs to Porter. Miller at second base now move into the lead. Bader on deck. Infield straightaway. Otis over in right center. Quisenberry sets the pitch to Ford. A breaking pitch outside, and the count 1-2. Danny started, held up. Ford with 101 RBIs on the year. Danny having a fine year, driving in all 4 runs last night in the Angel victory of 4-3. First time in his career he's been over that century mark in RBIs or even at it. Quisenberry again ready. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Outside, ball 2. 2-2 the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Whitey Herzog up on that top step. He's watching the action. As Quisenberry goes to the stretch. Here's a 2-2 pitch, a ground ball right side. White right there. Goes on to Wathan, and that is out number 3. Al Wisk will be back with you in the 7th inning. Angels gone in the 6th. No runs a hit, no errors. They leave 1. And after 6 complete, the Angels lead it 4-1.
When you say bud, you've said a lot of things nobody else can say. When you say bud, you've gone as far as you can go.
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
Al Wisk along with Don Drysdale and Dick Nelson. And the Angels are just 3 innings away from an historic night in Anaheim Stadium. Face-to-face confrontation with the 3-time champion, the Kansas City Royals. The Angels, the challenger, but they have the edge this season. A 4-game lead on Kansas City with 5 games to play. The magic number is 2. Minnesota has already lost to Chicago tonight by a score of 9-3. An Angel win, and they have it all in the Western Division. Let's pause for station identification. This is the Angels Radio Network.
KMPC Los Angeles.
This is Bob Rowe. I'll be on right after the game with KMPC Sports Line. So get your comments and questions ready and call 520-KMPC, and we'll talk sports right here at Radio 710.
Frank Donato on the mound. Now will work in inning number 7, facing Al Cowens, Darrell Porter, and John Wathen. Donato, brilliant the first 3 innings. Wobbled a bit in the 4th inning, but recovered and allowed only 1 run. Allowed a single in the 5th, retired the side in order in the 6th. Tanana retired the first 10 Royals that he faced. So now it's inning number 7. And Kansas City with 3 more shots at Tanana. The Angels, just in case, with activity in their bullpen in the left field corner, and Kansas City with the same in the right field corner. Tanana winds, and the pitch is in there for a called strike 1. Four runs, 9 hits, and no errors for the Halos. 1-3-0 for the Royals. The pitch, a curveball, sweeps low. It's 1-1. Montague and LaRoche throwing for the Angels in the left field corner. 1-1 pitch is low. It's 2-1. Cowens tonight bounced to short, single to left. Tanana winds, and the 2-1 pitch is outside, 3-1. So Tanana falls behind on the first hitter here in the 7th, Cowens. A lone pitcher throwing in the Kansas City bullpen, Craig Eaton. Fastball hit high and hit fairly well to left center, but there's Miller. He waits and makes the catch. So Tanana now working on a new string. He's retired 6 in a row, and here's Darrell Porter. Angels baseball brought to you by Chevron USA. Right now at Chevron, you can save up to $15.49 on Atlas Silver Air fiberglass belted radial tires, or up to $20 on Atlas Golden Air 2 steel belted radials. Pitch to Porter, curveball, bounces low. 1-0. Porter tonight called out on strikes and flied out to center field, 0 for 2. Tanana pumps, and the 1-0 pitch. Breaking ball swung on and missed. It's 1-1. The 1-1 pitch on the outside edge, a fastball. Porter thought it was low. It's 1-2. And now the outs for Kansas City, they start to dwindle down to a precious few. The 1-2 pitch to Porter, curveball, bounce, foul. A ball and 2 strikes. Tanana winds. The 1-2 delivery is ripped foul wide of first base. 1-2. Now, it couldn't have turned out any more appropriately. Kansas City, the team that has captured the flag in the West 3 straight years. They're the team going against the Angels, who hope to clinch their first championship tonight. 1-2 pitch, sprayed foul. The Royals picking up for the Oakland A's. Memories of their glories now seem long past. And now the Angels trying to pick it up from Kansas City. 1-2 pitch, a curveball that breaks outside. 2-2. Tanana has gone all the way tonight. Kansas City has used 3 pitchers. Frank Wines in the 2-2 pitch. Fastball on the outside corner for a called strike 3. 2 outs in the 7th. Tanana with 3 strikeouts tonight, and he has struck out Porter twice, both times on a fastball on the outside corner. Now Porter now 0 for 3, 2 outs for KC in the 7th, and here's John Wathan. John has bounced to Lansford at third and lined to Carney. Frank Wines and the pitch. Swing and a pop-up behind home plate. Downing looking for it. He makes the catch. That's all for KC in the 7th. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left at the end of 6 1/2. It's the Angels 4, the Royals 1.
There's an island paradise waiting just for you, with dazzling white beaches and cool green lagoons, where the water is so clear you can see brightly colored fish darting through coral reefs. And the sweet scent of pekoki and ginger blossoms fill the air. Here days are full of enchantment and nights full of promise. This paradise is my island home, Hawaii, and Continental is the airline that brings it within your reach.
Continental Airlines can make your dreams of Hawaii come true with low discount fares that give you Hawaii for less than you dreamed possible. And there are a wide variety of guaranteed Hawaiian holiday vacations to choose from, including our Pineapple Split and Fly Drive plans. It's our way of making sure you get the same outstanding service on the ground as you get on every flight. Call your travel agent or Continental Airlines.
Let Continental show you the way to Hawaii 34 times weekly. Call today for details and be on your way to a Hawaiian holiday Continental style.
Well, if ever a crowd sang "Take Me Out to the Ball Game with Feeling," this one has just done it tonight. 40,631 on hand at Anaheim Stadium, and they're hoping to watch history made tonight. The Angels, 4 runs, 9 hits, no errors. The Royals, 1 run, 3 hits, and no errors. And banners decorating Anaheim Stadium tonight. The one off to our left, the folks who've been here all season long, and they were counting down from the 40s. Their sign now says magic number 2. Angels, yes we have. KC, wait till next year, says another. Angel Mania, see you in Baltimore. KOKC, World Series fever, catch it. Here's Don Baylor against Dan Quisenberry. Right-hander Wines and the pitch. It is taken low, ball 1. Baylor, Carew, Downing here in the 7th. Quisenberry Wines in the pitch, swinging a ground ball up the middle, base hit for Baylor. Leadoff single in the 7th. Now Baylor is on. Carew at the plate. It'll be interesting to watch the strategy of Jimmy Fregosi. Now he's up by 3 runs, 4-1. Will he play for just an insurance run? Kansas City expecting that. Cruz already creeping in a bit at third base. Rod Carew, a great bunter. 3 for 3 tonight. Couple of singles to the outfield, 1 in the infield. He waits. Whip throw over to first base, and Baylor back with a slide. Baylor dusting himself off over at first. Don told us before the game we've got the champagne on ice. We'll send up a couple of bottles to the broadcast booth. And if you have ever listened to Angel Report, you got to listen to the show tonight. That is if the Angels hang on, and they're leading 4-1. Throw to first base. Baylor back standing up. Carew at the plate. Baylor at first. Cruz creeping in from third. The pitch to Carew, going to bunt, but bunts foul. Well, the Angels trying to sacrifice another potential run into scoring position. But Carew bunted foul. 1 strike to Rod. Cruz again pulled in over at third base. Wathan holding Baylor over at first. Middle of the infield. Set for 2. Outside target, Baylor goes, he swings, Carew does, and blips it down the left field line. Wilson in foul territory to make a basket catch, a bluff throw, Baylor back to first base. They had to sacrifice on, but then took it off. Tried to pull the hit and run. Carew looped the foul fly down the line and left. Wilson, with the great speed that he has, got to it. 1 away here in the 7th. Baylor at first base, Downing at the plate. Bryan tonight with a couple of singles and a walk. Dan Quisenberry on the mound, 3rd Kansas City pitcher, used tonight. Throws over to first base, Baylor dives back. Outfield fanned out against Downing. Quisenberry to the belt and the pitch. In there for a called strike. That sidearm sinking fastball served up by Quisenberry. Downing, the most productive Angel hitter tonight. With a couple of RBIs, he has 74 on the year. Infield remains set for 2. Cruz now back at third. Set by Quisenberry in the 1-strike pitch. On the inside edge, it's 0-2. The set, runner goes, 2-strike pitch bounced over the mound, wide over at second base, the throw off the bag, safe is Downing. That'll be the first error of the night, as the throw by Frank White pulled John Wathan off the bag home plate side. He tried to swipe at Downing, but he had gone by. Runners at first and second. And Bobby Grich at the plate. The Angels trying to open the door wider and trying to walk in for their first pennant. Grich waits. Quisenberry sets. Checks Baylor. The pitch to Grich. Swung on and missed. A fastball. Bobby has bounced out, flied out, and given an intentional pass his last time up. The starting pitcher, Chamberlain, charged with 3 runs, split off with 1. Quisenberry on the mound here in the 7th. The Angels leading 4-1, and the crowd coming to life again. Gritch waits. The 1-strike pitch. Bounce foul up the third base line, and it's 0-2 to Bob. Four runs, 10 hits, and no errors for the Angels. Kansas City, 1 run, 3 hits, 1 error. The set by Quisenberry. Checks back. Set by Quisenberry. Checks Baylor at second, who dances off the bag. He goes. Double steal is on. Throw to second base is in time. Pulling up was Brian Downing, and White put the tag on it. Rich took it for a ball. It's 1-2 to Bob as the Angels tried to steal 2 men into scoring position. Porter threw as soon as he got the ball to second base. Downing tried to pull up and dance around White, but couldn't do it. Frank put the tag on him, so 2 away, a runner at third base, and a 1-2 count to Gritch. Baylor down the line a quarter of the way at third. Quisenberry chases him back. Playing well back of the bag is Cruz at third base. Infield back with 2 outs. Outfield straight away. Gritch waits the 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball sweeps outside. 2-2 to Gritch. Two outs, runner at third, 4-1 California. Last of the 7th, 2-2 pitch to Gritch. Swinging a line drive, lofted to right field, but there to make the catch is Cowens, and that's all for California in the 7th. No runs, a hit, an error, and a man left. And at the end of 7 complete in Anaheim, it's the Angels 4, the Royals 1. Well, you've been counting down on the magic number, I know, for quite some time now, and now a more immediate countdown will occur here in Anaheim Stadium as the Angels are now 6 outs away from the pennant. It'll be UL Washington, Todd Cruz, and Willie Wilson for the Royals in their half of the 8th. Now, Angel Report, you've listened to it over the years. Our flagship station, KMPC, has originated the Angel games, and that has been the situation for 19 years, an Angel Report on all those years. Well, many of you waiting 19 years for a post-game show when the Angels would have champagne spraying down there in the locker room. They're 6 outs away from that tonight, so you got to stay tuned. Tanana winds and the pitch. It's a fastball, up high, ball 1. The Royals' hopes this season barely breathing, but they still have life, and they have 6 outs remaining. The pitch, swing and a line drive, base hit to right field for UL Washington. He turns first base and hangs on with a leadoff single here in the 8th. The Angels have activity in their bullpen. Fregosi not taking any chances. He has had men throwing several innings. Dave LaRoche warming up down there. John Montague also throwing, and here comes Jim Fregosi. He'll go out to talk to Tanana, who, as you know, has come back from a very serious arm injury this year. No one expected him in a million years to be able to pitch at the end of the season, but he has come back, and he's going to stay in momentarily as Fregosi makes a U-turn back to the dugout. Now, a new right-hander throwing for the Angels in the left field corner. Don Ossie teams up with Dave LaRoche. Tadana kicks and the pitch. Fastball fouled back by Cruz. 1 strike. At this stage of the game, this is Frank's longest outing since June 5th of this year. And Fregosi staying with him for the moment. Washington over at first base, 4-1 California here in the 8th. Tanana to the belt. Checks the runner in the 1-strike pitch. Inside, and he just got out of the way. 1-1. Angels baseball brought to you by Budweiser. The next time you're planning a picnic, don't forget to fill the cooler with ice-cold Budweiser. That's the perfect time to call on the king of beers. Frank Setz checks the runner in the 1-1 pitch. Curveball swung on and missed. It's 1-2. Now Tanana with the edge on Cruz. Top of the 8th in Anaheim. Frank to the belt, and the 1-2 pitch. Sprayed foul. The count remains 1-2. Tanana with the new baseball. Cruz at the plate, 0 for 2 tonight. He's flat out to center, was called out on strikes his last time up. Tanana has given up only 4 hits this evening, 2 of them to UL Washington. Leadoff man on over at first base. Angels set for 2 on the infield. Nobody out here in the 8th. Frank Setz, and the 1-2 pitch. Curveball, ripped foul, looped out of play down the left field line. 1-2. Tanana hinges the glove to the belt. The 1-2 pitch. Hit to the second baseman, Gritch. He fields, no play at second, throws to first, 1 away here in the 8th. Cruz out, 4-3. That ball hit in the base path, veering out of the way, UL Washington. And on the slowly hit ground ball, made it to second base easily. No play there. Gritch through to first. Runner at second now with 1 out, and Willie Wilson at the plate. Tanana, and a big key to his success so far tonight, he's kept Wilson off the bases. He's 0 for 3. Frank Setz checks the runner and the pitch. Swing and a foul fly out of play down the right field line. 1 strike to Wilson. Wilson has grounded to short, and he's flat out to center twice. UL Washington at second base. Angels lead by 3. Now, a piece of debris comes out to the field. Tanana will have to fetch it.
Please do not throw any objects onto the playing field. We thank you for your cooperation.
Tanana sets, and the 1-strike pitch, a curveball. Bounce foul up the third baseline, and he has the edge. 0-2 on Wilson. Tanana with 2 strikes on Wilson. The crowd beginning to applaud even before the pitch. Frank staring down the barrel at Downing. Sets the 2-strike pitch. On the outside corner, a fastball for a called strike 3. Wilson livid about the call. His head shaking and then violently spitting words at home plate umpire Jim Evans. 2 outs in the 8th. The man at second, and Frank White at the plate. That is Tanana's fourth strikeout of the game. Frank as White at the plate and the pitch. Swing and a ground ball hit to Lansford. He's going to try and tag the runner. He does. Out number 3. And now the Angels are just about an inning away from their first championship. And a standing ovation for the Halos as they leave the field. At the end of 7.5, it's the Angels 4, the Royals 1.
Ernie Chevron.
Listen, Ernie, I think I got battery problem.
Oh, hi, George.
Yeah, well, I was heading out to my bowling league this morning, and when I tried to start the car, nothing.
Nothing. Well, there are 2 common causes of that, George.
Oh.
One is that the battery terminals need cleaning.
Oh, I forgot to mention I left the lights on all night.
That's the other one, George.
Well, it happened around midnight, Ern, and when I noticed I'd left them on...
If you knew last night, George, why didn't you just turn them off then?
Oh, I tried to, Ern, but I couldn't seem to get the coat hanger around the button. It was pretty dark, you know.
Oh, so you were locked out, too.
Didn't I say that?
Next time that happens, George, disconnect the battery right away.
Yeah, but finally I noticed the lights were slowly turning themselves off, Ern, so I just went to bed.
George, I'll send Charlie over to pick up the battery for a recharging.
Recharge?
And while it's here, we'll clean the terminals and check the water level, too.
Ern, you're a lifesaver.
Keep your battery alive and well with regular stops at Chevron.
You know, George, you might just put that coat hanger in your glove compartment in case you get locked out again.
Hey, great idea, Oh, very funny, Ernie.
Well, the sign up at the third deck to our right echoes the thoughts of 40,000 plus fans tonight. It says, tonight is the night. And the Angels now will come to the plate, they hope, for the last time. Offensively, they've got Larry Harlow, Jimmy Anderson, and Rick Miller, the slighted hitters, against Dan Quisenberry. And the fans, this big crowd, they just can't wait to bust loose. Fans holding up signs all through the 3 decks of Anaheim Stadium. One, fellas, it just spelled out number 1 on his sign. Cushions being pounded together. Many of the crowd not waiting to the end of the game. They're standing already, and they're all chanting, yes, we can. The pitch to Harlow, outside, ball 1. And that brings to mind how that slogan sprung up spontaneously about a year and a half ago here in Anaheim Stadium. Quisenberry winds and the 1-0 pitch. Swing and a fly ball hit to left. Wilson backing up, lopes to the line to make the catch. 1 out here in the 8th, and here's Jimmy Anderson in Angels baseball, brought to you by Continental Airlines. If you've got a small package that has to be delivered today, don't panic. Just call PBX. Last season, when the Angels had a shot to try and take the Western Division flag, spontaneously, not by any club promotion, any advertising slogan, fastball inside to Andy, ball 1. But perhaps some of you listening at home, those of you here in the stands tonight were here that night when somebody lifted that first sign that said, yes, we can. Swing and a ground ball hit to the shortstop, Washington. Gobbles it up, throws him out. 2 gone for the Angels here in the 8th. And let's pause for station identification. This is the Angels Radio Network.
This is Bob Rowe. I'll be on right after the game with KMPC Sports Line. So get your comments and questions ready and call 520-KMPC, and we'll talk sports right here at Radio 710.
So, yes, we can, continuing to echo tonight in Anaheim Stadium. 2 outs in the 8th. Rick Miller at the plate. McCray, Otis, and Collins due up in Kansas City's half of the 9th. The pitch is sprayed foul. 1 strike. And ever since that night in Anaheim Stadium, about a year ago, that's been the chant that's been picked up by folks coming into Anaheim Stadium. Yes, we can. And tonight, it has a great chance to become reality. The Angels only 4 outs away from that. Miller at the plate. Quisenberry on the mound. He winds, and the one-strike pitch. A ground ball hit up the middle. Gloved by Washington, booted by Washington. That'll be an error on UL. That's the second error tonight by Kansas City. Puts a man on with 2 outs. Connie Lansford at the plate. Lansford tonight is 0 for 4. Popped out, flied out, popped out, and bounced out. Carney waits. Young Angel third baseman, a big part of the story. The pitch. Fastball outside, ball 1. You think of all the travails the Angels have had to go through, not only this year with all the injuries, but all the problems, and in many cases, tragedies that have afflicted the team in their 19 years. The set by Quisenberry and the 1-0 pitch. A chopper over the mound. There's Washington. He charges, throws to first base, and that's all for the Angels in the 8th. So now the countdown down to 3. 3 outs away for the Angels. All they have to do is take care of Kansas City in the 9th. And at the end of 8, it's the Angels 4, the Royals 1.
Or I could hear the Angels play. But here I am, sitting back and listening to the Angels game on my radio, while I keep refreshed with my favorite light beer, Natural. There's no better way I know to enjoy a baseball game than with a Natural. And the smooth, clean taste that comes from all natural ingredients and slow, natural aging. Now, I don't mean to harp on it, but Angels baseball goes so good with a Natural that even though these guys don't have halos, this must be heaven.
Just say natural. Just say natural. For a smooth, clean taste and a great light beer. Just say natural.
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
Well, now the Angels 3 outs away, and there's big Angel crowd on its feet. And I don't think there's any question about the fact that most of them are going to stay standing for this 9th inning. It'll be McRae, Otis, and Cowens for Kansas City. One last try for the Royals, the 3-time defending champions. And it's McRae who comes to the plate here in the 9th against Tanana. Frank looking for his first complete game since June 5th of this year. It would give the Angels 4 straight complete game wins for the first time since 1975. Figueroa, Singer, Ryan, Tanana, and the crowd all on their feet here at Anaheim Stadium. A Western Division Championship 3 outs away. McRae at the plate. Tanana on the mound. And the crowd refusing to die down. The first pitch, swing and a bouncer, hit foul wide of third base. It's 1 strike to McRae. McRae 0 for 3 tonight. He's grounded to short twice and flied out to right. Tanana doesn't like the new baseball. Gets another one from Jim Evans. The Angels with Harlow and Miller and Ford in the outfield, left to right. Lansford, Anderson, Gritch, Carew around the horn. Downing behind the plate. Tanana on the mound. 3 outs away. Left-hander winds, and the 1-strike pitch, a curveball, belted, hit deep to left field. Harlow going back to the track, to the wall. He makes the catch for the lead. And now 2 outs separate the Angels from the championship. Anaheim Stadium rocking tonight with enthusiasm and emotion. And Amos Otis at the plate. He is 0 for 2 tonight, gripping that bat over the back shoulder. The pitch from Frank is a curveball that snakes inside, ball 1. the rhythmic applause in Anaheim Stadium. Swing and a fly down the right field line. Foul territory. Carew going out. Ford is over. It's back in the seats by about 4 rows. 1-1 to Otis. Well, 19 seasons. 3 different ballparks. 8 different managers. Hundreds of players wearing an Angel uniform in one form or another. Since the initial season back in 1961. And all that time just might culminate tonight. Swing and a line drive ripped to left field for a base hit for Otis. So he tries to keep the Royals alive as he smacks one to left. A man on with a man out. The Angels will set for 2 on the infield. Al Cowens to the plate. Cowens 1 for 3 tonight. Grounded out in the 2nd. Lined a single in the 4th. Flied out to center field in the 7th. Most of the folks still on their feet here in Anaheim. 4-1 California. Top of the 9th. Last chance for Kansas City in 1979. Tanana sets the pitch. Curveball for a strike. It's 0-1 to Cowens. Frank sets the 1-strike pitch, hit back to the middle. Bobby Grich behind the back, flips to Andy. The return call, not in time. Many of the fans over exuberant, getting on the field before the end of the ball game. The police will chase them back off the field. The Angels now 1 out away. Cowens over at first on the field, his choice. And again, the announcement for the fans to try and just restrain their enthusiasm for a bit. Porter at the plate. The Angels 1 out away. 1 out away from their first championship ever. Porter at the plate. He waits. The pitch from Frank. Swing and a ground ball hit to Carew. He bobbles it, recovers, throws to Tanana in time. The 19-year wait is over. They've done it. The Angels are the champions of the West. Pandemonium breaking loose at Anaheim Stadium. The crowd pouring on the field. A sign, a banner being carried. Yes, we can, crossed out and will put behind it. They're going crazy in Anaheim Stadium as the Angels have won their first pennant in 19 years. Of fans pouring on the field here at Anaheim Stadium. It's a hopeless cause for the local authorities as enthusiasm now unrestrained. And we've got a great locker room show coming up. The Angels defeating the Kansas City Royals. The king is dead in the West, and long live the new king. So the Angels will finish up tomorrow against Kansas City. They'll head to Texas for the final regular season series of the year. Fans turning cartwheels on the field. A couple of fans doing a dance on home plate. And everybody in the stands on their feet here in Anaheim Stadium. Then after they finish up in the regular season, it'll be the trip from Texas to Baltimore, where they'll open in the first game of the American League Championship Series as the California Angels have defeated the Kansas City Royals 4-1 tonight. 4 runs, 11 hits, no errors for the Angels. The Royals 1 run, 5 hits, and 1 error. And we'll have the complete totals in just a moment.
The first explorers to the South Seas found lands of unspoiled beauty, civilizations time forgot, exotic animals unknown in the Western world. They found adventure beyond their wildest dreams. And now that same adventure can be yours, because Continental Airlines has opened the South Pacific and put it within your reach. With fares that are far less than you'd believe, and vacation plans more varied than you thought possible. There's our New Zealand 7-day fly drive tour, for example, where you will roam the green pasture lands near Christchurch, discover the eerie magnificence of a glowworm grotto and the fascination of a Maori village. Or our leisurely 23-day tour that escorts you from the lush tropics of Fiji to the wondrous contrasts of Australia. Whatever your own dream of paradise may be, Continental Airlines can help you find it.
Continental flies to Australia 4 times a week and to New Zealand 3 times a week from Los Angeles. For more details, call your travel agent or Continental Airlines.
The totals in tonight's game, the Angels 4 runs, 11 hits, no errors, 5 men left on base. The Royals 1 run, 5 hits, 1 error, 10 men left on base. Tanana, the winning pitcher, 7-5. Chamberlain, the losing pitcher, his record 4-4. And it's a jubilant California Angels clubhouse right now. And we're going to get down there as quickly as we can. A great Angel report upcoming in just a moment.
California Angels baseball is brought to you by Chevron USA and your local Chevron dealer. We'll remind you that right now it's more important than ever to make our nation's energy resources go a long way. Remember, it only takes a little energy to save a lot when we all work together. By Budweiser, where all you do, this Bud's for you. By Continental Airlines, planning a trip soon? Call Continental for the schedule that best fits your travel needs. And by Chevrolet, like baseball, hot dogs, and apple pie. Chevy is America's favorite year after year. This broadcast is authorized under radio rights granted by the Angels solely for the entertainment of our listening audience. Any other use prohibited. Air personnel approved by the Angels and Golden West Broadcasters. Now stay tuned for important post-game coverage on Angel Report, coming right up.
If you want to serve your family the most nutritious, wholesome milk available, give them Altadena Dairy's Raw Certified Milk. Raw Certified Milk is a process which relies on super sanitation to make sure the milk does not contain any harmful bacteria. It's produced under the strict standards of supervision and cleanliness that it's not necessary to pasteurize it. Pasteurization is a process which relies on heat to destroy harmful bacteria. If milk is produced clean and pure and from healthy cows, like at Altadena Dairy, it is not necessary to pasteurize. Pasteurization destroys some of the nutrients found in milk. Other nutrients are altered and thus no longer 100% metabolically available. Raw certified milk, on the other hand, is a natural product, one in which the nutrients have not been changed or destroyed. Altadena Dairy products are available through home delivery, Altadena drive-in dairies, health food stores, and selected markets throughout Southern California.
Farmers can't do anything about the high cost of your auto or its repair, but they can help reduce your overall automobile expenses. Farmers Insurance Group has found that people who don't smoke are better risks as drivers, and better risks get better rates. So if you haven't smoked for 2 years or more, you may be eligible for their non-smokers discount on auto insurance. Call your fast, fair, and friendly farmer's agent today. It might be a cure for the high cost of owning a car.
This is Bob Rowe. The postgame show is coming up, and I'll be on until midnight tonight with KMPC Sportsline. Give me a call, and let's talk about the upcoming playoffs between the Angels and Baltimore Orioles. And congratulations to the Angels from KMPC, Los Angeles.
This is Angel Report, and this is Al Wisk along with Don Drysdale. Stand by for a recap of tonight's game, all the scores and exclusive post-game interviews, all on Angel Report.
From Anaheim, a tumultuous Anaheim, Angel Report is brought to you by LB Bull and Candy Kids, distributors of U.S. Tobacco, Nestle's Lifesavers, Peter Paul, Luden's, and Toffee Pay. Look for these fine products at an LB ballpark display in your favorite grocery, drug, supermarket, convenience, or package store. And by AFCO Financial Services, when you need to borrow money, remember the 9,000 people at AFCO want to prove it to you. Their people put you in the best company. Al Wisk along with Don Drysdale, Dick Nelson, Bob Angel here at Anaheim Stadium, where the California Angels have just won their first divisional title in 19 years of play. Final score tonight, the Angels 4, the Royals 1. And I tell you, people down in the locker room going crazy right now with champagne and all kinds of celebrations. So, very shortly, let's get set to go down to the locker room and head down and find out what's going on in the Angels' victorious locker room.
Okay, this is Fred Hester down here right now. Jimmy Fregosi just walked by, and the man who created Jim Fregosi, Bill Rigney, the first Angel manager. It all began on a day in Baltimore with a pitcher with a funny four-letter word name, Eli Gerba. Remember that day, Bill Rigney?
I remember it well, and I'm sure all Angel fans remember it well. It was the start of something good, and it finally reached the head right here in Anaheim, California.
I saw you over there a minute ago with Angel owner Gene Autry getting the champagne all over both of you.
Well, I'll tell you, I think as long as Gene's waited for this, all of us that started this Angel Club and always have been Angel people, really, even though some of us left and now are back here, we've all waited for this. And I've got to say this. The man's managed a year and a half now, and has just done a great job. Jim Fregosi. The hat's off for him.
Incidentally, at first, you stepped in, you gave him a few tips. He's on his own this year, I guess, huh?
He doesn't need anybody now. He really is. This was a big step. The next one's even bigger, going to Baltimore. That's going to be the big one.
Oh, it certainly is. Thanks so much, Rick.
You bet, Fred.
Absolutely great. Bill Rigney, the first manager of Angels. Steve?
Hey, Fred. We were talking to John Hall before the game, and he came up with a list of about 11 guys who are still hanging around the ballpark who were in Baltimore that very first game. John, how are you?
There's Bud right there.
There's one of them, Bud Frillo. Hi, buddy.
It all began in Baltimore. Now we're going back. Nobody gives the Angels any kind of a chance, just like they did in the 1961 in the game opener. 7-2, 3 home runs. Expect the same thing next week.
Some of them, sure you gave them a chance. You always got a chance.
Sounds like everybody's a little excited. Pretty terrific.
This is a great night.
It really is. A lot of us weren't sure was ever going to get here. But they just did a terrific job. I think Rig was saying about Fregosi is really true. The way he kept things together this year has been really remarkable. It's been one of the top seasons for anybody with all the adversity they've gone through.
I saw up in the press box our first publicist, Irv Kays, was up there.
That's right. Irv Kays came all the way in just for the game. I guess he's going to business meetings in Chicago for the basketball, and he was here. He had to see it. I think everybody that was around and been here from the beginning felt that way. You better get Mr. Fregosi on.
Oh, we
here
will.
again. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, John.
There we go. The manager of the year, the guy who has a T-shirt now that says, "Yes, we did, Angels, 1979 Western Division champs." Somebody was all ready for this, Jim.
Well, Fred, we've been ready for it for an awfully long time around here, and I'm just thrilled to death to be part of it. These players have been absolutely fantastic all season. They've gone out under really some tough situations, some tough conditions. They've battled all year long, and I just couldn't be prouder of them.
Hey, Jim, a lot of people counted you out when you lost that first game at Kansas City 16-3. Since then, it's been a little different.
Well, we've been written off quite a few times this year, but they've always come back. No matter what has happened to them, they've just battled it, and then you can't say enough about them.
Hey, I got to say something about A good string of pitching began really with Chris Knapp. Now, here's a guy you figured wasn't going to be back this year, was going to have surgery. He pitched in one for you Saturday, a big one.
Well, at one time this year, we didn't think Chris was going to be
We
back.
know you for this. Bobby Gritch dousing his manager with champagne down the back.
That painful wail was a bottle of champagne going down the manager's back. Hey, Bobby, come here a minute.
Come on, Bobby.
Bobby Gritch, congratulations.
Thank you, Steve. All right.
How does this compare with the ones you won in Baltimore?
This is by far more thrilling and more exciting. I've always been an Angel fan since I was about 15 or 16 years old when I moved out here. This is my dream, is to play for this ball club, and it's come true, and my family's been able to enjoy it too, as well as my close friends, so all those things combined makes this much more sweeter. Yeah, my grandmother just is in the hospital right now. I'd like to tell her I'm sorry she missed this celebration. I'm sure that if she was here, she'd be drinking more champagne than anybody, but that's all right. She's back on the road to recovery, and she'll be here tomorrow night, as a matter of fact. So I'd like to say hello to my grandmother, and she's our #1 fan.
Great. Hey, Bobby, let's go back to last night and that sensational double play you started. Can you sort of recreate it for us?
Well, we were ahead 4-3 at the time.
And Don Baylor's just poured a bottle of champagne down Bobby Gritch's back. Hey, Don, don't go away. The double play last night.
The clock was up, and I'm playing him way up the middle because he's a left-hander that goes to left field quite a bit, especially off Nolan Ryan. So he hit a line drive that caroomed off the side of the mound, and on the second hop, I was able to short hop it with a backhand. And luckily, my hand was out in front of my face, so I could bring my right hand out there and get the ball out of my glove, and I flipped it over my head. Anderson was there on the bag, the toss it right to him, he turned into a play, and I jumped up and I went, all right.
The shortstop made a pretty good play, didn't he?
He was there waiting for the ball, he just made a perfect play, and Jimmy Anderson has played super shortstop for us. This is the toughest infield in baseball, at least in the American League. I don't have that much experience in the National League, but this is the toughest infield in the American League to play. It's very hard and it's very fast, and it's as fast as AstroTurf, and yet we have the hard bounce, unpredictable bounces of a turf infield, and he has done a super job, and he should be commended. He's made a few errors, but anybody would make a few errors in this infield, and the young man, for being inexperienced, has done a super job.
Now, going back to Baltimore to start the series next week, what kind of information can you impart to your players since you played with that club for so many years?
Well, it's, I think the ball team has seen Baltimore enough that where they are experienced enough, I really can't add that much to it. We've just got to beat their pitching. They have a good pitching staff, Palmer, Flanagan, Martinez, McGregor on down the line, a good bullpen, Stanhouse and Stoddard. We just got to keep our mistakes to a minimum. We've got to, just hit their pitching as well as we can. I predict some close scoring and low scoring ball games, 2-1, 3-2, 4-3, that sort of thing. And we just can't beat ourselves, and I think we're ready to go. Our pitching has really shored up here the last 4 or 5 games, and that's very encouraging for us. So maybe we can keep our pitching going the way it is. Who knows? We'll give them a run for their money.
Thanks very much, Bobby. Congratulations.
All right.
I'm Steve Bailey with Fred Hessler, and Don Drysdale is going to join us in just a moment. We'll talk to some more players as Angel Report continues in just a moment.
You can really get overheated out there in the stands cheering for the Angels, and when you do, that's the time to bite into the smoothest, coolest peppermint snack around, Mellow Mint. Mellow Mints are refreshing, creamy peppermint patties covered with delicious dark chocolate. And whether this is your first baseball game or you've been a fan since Mighty Casey struck out, Mellow Mints are the perfect snack. They come singly, 2 to a pack or in bags, so the next time, bite into the candy that's guaranteed to win out. Mellow Mint peppermint patties. We all know that certain things are best left back east, like the Yankees, but there is something from the east that's always welcome in California. It's Fifth Avenue. No, not the street, but the delicious candy bar. Fifth Avenue is the perfect combination of crunchy peanut butter and creamy, smooth milk chocolate. The peanut butter is made with a select roasted peanuts that have been ground to crunchy perfection. And the milk chocolate is real, so the crunchy peanut butter is covered only by the best. Fifth Avenue Candy Bar. It's the bite that's right.
Available at an LB ballpark display in your favorite grocery, drug, convenience, or package store.
Final score, the Angels 4, Kansas City 1, and the Angels win the West. And Don Drysdale joins us now. And Big D, you've been involved in many championship series. You've been to the World Series a number of times. This has got to make you feel extra good being on the other side.
Well, Steve, it really does, I'll tell you, and I can't take my hats off to these guys enough because they were been counted out for so many times. They'd get to that 9 count, but they'd struggle back off the floor, and we got a couple of guys right here that have just had super years, and Dave Frost and Carney Lansford. And Dave, first of all, congratulations. I know that you've got to just be elated.
Yeah, I couldn't be happier. I mean, I don't think I anticipated having this kind of year or anybody else, and then we win the whole thing under a lot of adverse situations. So right now, I'm on cloud 10.
But the big thing tonight, you're looking at the 4th of 4 complete games in a row, the first time since 1975, and I don't know what happened. You guys must have got together and had a little pitchers meeting or something.
I don't know what happened either, Don, but it's just great because we've been using our bullpen so much last month. We got Montague, and we used him 8 out of 9 nights, and if it wasn't him, it was somebody else, and then suddenly we just go out there and have 3 or 4 complete games in a row, and it's just it's turned out great.
Was there one turning point for you?
For me, I think it was earlier on in the year when I finally started throwing strikes again, and then I got into a groove. We went on a 4-man rotation, and it just seemed I was out there every day, and I got into a good groove and stayed with it.
Well, you've had a great year. It's not over yet. You've still got your work cut out for you. We'll let you go, and again, congratulations.
Right. Thanks a lot.
Carney Lansford, come on over here, Carney. Carney, I know that in your young career, and you're going to see some more of these, and I know looking at that smile on your face, there's a piano off of your shoulders. I know you got to be tired.
Yeah, I am a little tired. I'm glad it's over. I've been waiting for this day a long time. Let me tell you, the last couple of weeks have been long ones for me, but fortunately everybody else came through, and that's exactly what we needed. The money players came through when we need them, and our pitching was excellent. I love it. I just hope we can keep it up a couple more games.
I would have to say, when you talk about money players, you've got to look at every man that wore an Angel uniform this year because they all contributed.
That's right. Everybody all year long. It's just somebody else every other game, and that's exactly what we needed. Rodney was hurt for a long time, and Willie Aiken stepped in, and he did quite a job. And it's just a terrific compliment to Gene Autry and to Jim Fregosi because they both did the job the whole year, and that's exactly what we needed.
You mentioned the one word, Gene Autry, and I would have to say that there's probably as many people that are just as happy for Gene Autry as they are for the entire ball club. I mean, that goes for all 25 guys, manager and coaches.
That's right. We're extremely happy for Gene, and I know he's worked awful hard and waited a long time for this, and I'm just glad we could give it to him right now. And I know Jimmy's awful happy, and I love to see that. And he's done a heck of a job this year, and he's a heck of a manager, and he deserves every bit of it.
Well, Carney, we're going to let you go, too, because we got some more talking to do. And listen, congratulations, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, thanks a lot, John.
Carney Lansford and Fred Hessler, I know that as we try and move around here to pick up some guys, and have you talked to Nolan Ryan yet?
Not yet. I'll get to
Nolan.
Noli.
Come here.
Oh, wait.
Here's 2 guys. Here's 2 guys right here. Wait, look at Noli. I know one thing. You've been on a winner before, but have you ever seen a ball club? You were with the amazing Mets, and I don't know whether if they had the adversities that this ball club has gone through.
Well, I don't think so, Don. I've never seen a ball club go through what we've gone through and showed the heart that we've shown this year, and I think that's the reason that we've won is because the ball club, when somebody was down, somebody else picked them up, and we never got down when were faced with adversity. We just went right at them.
I said to Dave Frost, I said, you pitchers got together. Frank Tanana just joined us. That's the first time since 1975 you guys have had 4 complete games in a row.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'd have bet on the first 3, but I don't know if I'd have bet on the 4th. But it's an awful nice feeling, like Nolan said, that's for sure. And it's good to see the pitching come around. We've taken a little beating, here and there because the ERA's been up. But you know yourself, if we were to win it, this is what we had to do, and I'm awfully glad to see the guys pull it together. And these last 4 ball games, the pitching's done it.
And the big thing, both of you beat the club you had to beat.
Well, that's right, Don. We wanted to play them here at home. We wanted to take it here at home for the fans and beat Kansas City. We didn't want to back into it or anything else. We wanted to go right at them, and that's exactly what we did. We were up for the series, and we played them tough.
Noli, there's some people who want to talk to you. We'll let you go. And Frank Tanana, before you go, I would just like to say one thing, that was probably one of the guttiest performances that I have really ever seen. I know you didn't have the Frank Tanana stuff we've seen in the past, but, pal, you just pitched one hell of a ball game.
Well, Don, I sure appreciate you saying that, and it's awfully nice to go 9, and get that last out, and I don't know, I wouldn't have bet on it, 6 2/3, the longest I've gone since I've been back, but you know the feeling, the adrenaline got pumping, and I felt as good at the end as I did in the beginning. A little shaky in the middle, but the end, it just it felt like the old days. It really did. You know, you go through the first three, you're strong, then you fill around the middle, and then when you got the lead, boom, it kicks in, and you go for it. It's as strong as it's ever been, and that's the way it turned out tonight. It's mighty sweet, I'll tell you.
Well, Frankie, listen, congratulations. Good luck the rest of the way, and a great job tonight.
Thank you, Don.
All right, Frank Tanana and Nolan Ryan have just been with us, and right over here, right now, as we move across, and Rick Miller. Rick Miller moving in. Rick, you've been with the Red Sox. You've been now with the California Angels. I think everybody on a winter, who's ever been on a winter, they have a different impression when you finally realize that you've won. And what is yours right here?
Well, I'll tell you what, the difference between 75 with Boston and here was that, I'm an everyday player here, and I was only reserved there. And it means a lot more when you put in a full year's work, and you work towards that whole thing for the whole year, and you finally can realize that all you put into it is, come to a head, and this is it. And it's just, to me, there's no comparison between this and 1975 in Boston.
This is a little bit sweeter, maybe.
Well, it really is. I'm so happy for all the guys. I know that we've had a lot of injuries this year, and I was one of the guys that went down with an injury, and our team, they hung in there very well and produced when we were out of there. Rod Carew and myself were out at the same time. We didn't even know we were gone. We had Willie Mays Aikens and Larry Harlow were in there and did a super job. We couldn't ask for more.
And you've had a great year.
Well, I don't know. I can't call it great. I thought I was pretty steady most of the year. Being leadoff man, I just knew my job was to score runs. I wish I would have had more RBIs. It looks better when you have, look at the stat sheet, but that's not me because we had a lot of guys. We had maybe two guys with over 100 RBIs and some guys that are pretty close to 100. And, somebody was doing their job. So
you picked the RBIs up in the playoff.
Hey, I tell you, that's all you got to do. You don't worry about base hits, you worry about RBIs.
That's Rick, congratulations.
Thank you, Dan.
Chris, come on over. Chris Knapp, and there's another guy that he went out the other day, and I think it might bring tears to people's eyes to see the game that he pitched, but I'll tell you, it couldn't have been at a better time, Chris.
Well, thanks, Don. It was just really nice to have a good outing for a change and contribute to this ball club who's done so great all year long, and